مبادرة شور، وهي الكلمة المشتقة من شجرة University Response. هذه المبادرة التي أطلقتها كليتي الطب بجامعة شقراء لتأهيل الكوادر الطبية خلال جائحة كورونا، حيث تضمنت عدة مبادرات، وهي شور ويبينار، شور ريسورس، and شور سايكاتري فيرتشوال كلينيك، والتي استفاد منها عدد كبير من الطلاب والممارسين الصحيين بالنطاق الجغرافي للجامعة. واليوم وبدعم وتوجيه من سعادة الأستاذ الدكتور علي بن محمد السيف رئيس الجامعة، تطلق كليتي الطب البرنامج الثاني ضمن هذه المبادرة، والتي تهدف لتسليط الضوء على آخر المستجدات فيما يخص جائحة كورونا. بشكل علمي، ومناقشة المحاور المهمة والمستجدة مثل اللقاحات وفيروس كورونا المتحور وأثره بالعلاج وطرق مواجهته من خلال عدة جلسات علمية على مدى يومين يقدمها عدد من المختصين، بالإضافة إلى زيادة الوعي المجتمعي من خلال جلسة حوارية ضمن الجلسة الافتتاحية باللغة العربية ومخصصة للمجتمع. في الختام، أتقدم بالشكر الجزيل لراعي هذا البرنامج سعادة الأستاذ الدكتور علي بن محمد السيف رئيس الجامعة على رعايته الكريمة ودعمه وتوجيهه، كما أشكر الزملاء القائمين على هذه الندوة على ما بذلوه من جهد ووقت في التنظيم والإعداد، وأسأل الله عز وجل أن ينفع بها وأن تحقق الهدف الذي أقيمت من أجله. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
شكرا جزيلا سعادة الدكتور فراس المرشد. أما الآن مع كلمة لسعادة رئيس الجامعة راعي الحفل الأستاذ الدكتور علي بن محمد السيف، فليتفضل مشكورا.
شكرا دكتور. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أصحاب السعادة، وكلاء الجامعة، عمداء الكليات، حضورنا الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. يقول الله جل وعلا في كتابه الكريم: يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم والذين أوتوا العلم درجات والله بما تعملون خبير. لذا ها نحن اليوم نرفع من قدر علمائنا ونعبر عن مدى فخرنا واعتزازنا مما بذلته كوادرنا الطبية في المملكة من جهود خلال هذه الفترة العصيبة التي مرت على العالم أجمع. كانت الكلمة العليا فيه لأصحاب العلم، وكان فيه الأطباء والممرضين والمسعفين هم الأبطال الذين بذلوا الغالي والنفيس وقدموا تضحيات نادرة وتقدموا الصفوف في وقت الشدة ليبرهنوا أنهم بالفعل درع من دروع الوطن، وأنهم ذخر هذا الوطن المعطاء في مستقبل أفضل أكثر إشراقا تكون فيه بلادنا في مصاف الدول المتقدمة في كافة العلوم. فشكرا لكل كوادرنا الطبية، وأسأل الله عز وجل أن يديم عليكم تفوقكم ويرفع من شأنكم، وأن يجعلكم على الدوام مصدر فخر لنا ولوطننا بين الأمم. نعم، ذلك الوطن المعطاء الذي نحمد الله تعالى على أن أنعم علينا به وبقيادته الرشيدة رعاها الله، التي وضعت الإنسان وصحته وسلامته في مقدمة أولوياتها دون النظر لعرق أو لون أو جنسية. قيادة حاسمة وحازمة وسباقة في اتخاذ القرار بما تقتضيه الحاجة من إجراءات واحترازات، والتعامل الفاعل والمنجز مع ما فرضته ظروف الجائحة. وقد شهد العالم أجمع لما قامت به حكومة خادم الحرمين الشريفين في كل المجالات وكل القطاعات الحيوية في مملكتنا الغالية. وقد كان لقطاع الصحة والتعليم النصيب الأكبر، وكان هناك تناغم جم بين التعليم والصحة في الاهتمام والدعم الذي قدمته الدولة خلال هذه الجائحة، بما جنب وطننا الغالي من انتشار وتفشي هذا الفيروس، والذي عانت من ويلاته دول عظمى باغتتها هذه الجائحة، ولكن بفضل الله ثم بهذه القيادة الرشيدة رعاها الله ظلت وستظل بإذن الله صامدة في وجه هذا الخطر، عافانا الله وكافة البلدان من شره وعواقبه. ونحن اليوم أيها الإخوة نجتمع لندشن مبادرة لتأهيل الكوادر الطبية لمواجهة جائحة كورونا في هذه الفترة الدقيقة من التعامل مع هذه الجائحة، مع ظهور موجات جديدة ومع بدء تداول اللقاحات المضادة للفيروس، لنشر الوعي بأهميتها والتعريف بها، حيث تأتي هذه المبادرة في إطار جهود جامعتكم جامعة شقرة من خلال إقامة مثل هذه الندوات والفعاليات وتفعيل دورها المجتمعي. لذا أيها الإخوة فإننا نتوجه بالشكر الجزيل لكليتي الطب في شقرة بجامعة شقرة في محافظة شقرة ومحافظة الدوادمي، وكافة المنظمين، وعلى رأسهم أخي الدكتور فراس وزملائه، على إقامة هذه الفعالية في هذا التوقيت بمشاركة نخبة من المختصين في المجال الطبي، لتسليط الضوء على آخر المستجدات فيما يخص جائحة كورونا بشكل علمي ودقيق، وأيضا تعزيز مهارات الكوادر الطبية في مواجهة هذه الآفة وإطلاعهم على كافة المستجدات المتعلقة. وفي الختام أسأل الله عز وجل أن يديم علينا في وطننا الأمن والأمان، وأن يحمينا من كل مكروه، وأن يديم لنا قيادتنا، وأن يحفظ جنودنا وينصرهم في الثغور، وأن إن شاء الله تعالى نجتاز هذه المرحلة ونحن من تفوق وتميز إلى آخر. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
شكرا لكم سعادة رئيس الجامعة أستاذ الدكتور علي بن محمد السيف على هذه الرعاية الكريمة وكلمتكم الطيبة. والآن نبدأ مع أولى الجلسات بجلسة حوارية باللغة العربية موجهة للمجتمع من نخبة من الأطباء ذوي الاختصاص بعنوان الحقائق والشائعات عن كورونا. يشارك فيها سعادة الدكتور علي بن قاسم دراج، رئيس قسم طب الباطنة، أستاذ مساعد طب الأسرة ومختص بالأخلاقيات الطبية بكلية الطب بشقراء. وكذلك سعادة الدكتور سعد بن محمد الصعب، وكيل الكلية وأستاذ مساعد طب الباطنة بكلية الطب بالدوادمي. مدير الحوار سعادة الدكتور معاذ بن عبد الرحمن العمار، وكيل الكلية للشؤونية وأستاذ مساعد طب الأسرة بكلية الطب بشقراء. أمل من الجميع إرسال أسئلتهم خلال الجلسة الحوارية ليتم الإجابة عليها بالضغط على الأيقونة أسفل الشاشة. سنستعرض قبل البداية فيديو عن المبادرة توضيحي عنها، ثم نبدأ الجلسة بإذن الله.
كلية طب بجامعة شقراء تقدم مبادرة شور للاستجابة لجائحة كورونا الجديد كوفيد-19 بجامعة شقراء يونيفرسيتي ريسبونس، لتدريب وتجهيز ودعم الأطباء وأطباء وطلاب الامتياز وطلاب الكليات الصحية لجائحة كورونا الجديد. كلمة شور تعني التأكد وتشير إلى الثقة التامة بصحة الأمر، حيث نسعى لتقديم كل ما يمكن للتأكد من كفاءة وأهلية الكوادر الصحية للتعامل مع جائحة كورونا الجديد كوفيد-19. الهدف مشروع متكامل من عدة مبادرات لتحقيق الجاهزية للكوادر الصحية من الأطباء في جامعة شقراء وفي المستشفيات والمراكز الصحية الواقعة بالمنطقة الجغرافية للجامعة، وكذلك لأطباء وطلاب الامتياز وطلاب الكليات الصحية للتعامل والتصدي والاستفادة من القدرات والكوادر ودعمهم لمواجهة جائحة كورونا الجديد كوفيد-19. المبادرات هي شور ويبنارس، ندوات عبر الإنترنت، شور سايكاتري فيرتشوال كلينيك، عيادة الدعم النفسي، شور ريسورسز، مصادر المعلومات.
والآن فليتفضل الدكتور معاذ مدير الجلسة الحوارية مع الزملاء الكرام الدكتور علي دراج والدكتور سعد الصعب. المايك عندكم والكاميرا.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. كورونا حقائق وشائعات. أسعد الله مساءكم بالخير والمسرات وطابت ليلتكم بكل خير. يسرني اليوم أن ألتقيكم في البرنامج الثاني لمبادرة تأهيل الكوادر الطبية لجائحة كورونا المستجد، حيث أتممنا سنة كاملة منذ بداية الجائحة وتجاوزنا الكثير منها والصعب ولله الحمد، ولم يتبقى سوى القليل بحرص ولاة أمر هذه الدولة المباركة وتوجيهات مسؤوليها وتكاتفكم وتعاون الجميع خلال هذه الجائحة. لا أطيل عليكم، فكلنا تعطش لمعرفة بعض الحقائق المهمة والتي تهم المتلقي والمتابع غير المختص عن هذا الفيروس، خصوصا فيما يتعلق في جزئية المتحور منها واللقاحات. الحقائق دائما ما يشوبها الشائعات، فيلتبس ما هو صحيح منها بالخاطئ وما هو مثبت علميا وما هو متوقع، فالطب يبنى على البراهين ولا مجال للاجتهاد فيه كوننا مؤتمنين على أرواح البشر، وهذا يحملنا أمانة عظيمة يجعلنا حريصين على أخذ المعلومة نقية مصحوبة ببراهين علمية مثبتة. جلسة اليوم نحاور فيها أصحاب الشأن والرأي في هذا المجال، ونتحدث فيها أيضا عن بعض الحقائق وبعض الشائعات الخاطئة التي صاحبت هذه الجائحة. أرحب بضيفي الكريمين، الأول الدكتور علي بن قاسم دراج، استشاري طب الأسرة ورئيس قسم الباطنة بكلية الطب بشقراء. فأهلا وسهلا بك دكتور علي.
الله يعطيك العافية، حياكم الله جميعا.
الله يعطيك العافية. ضيفي الثاني هو الدكتور سعد بن محمد الصعب، استشاري مساعد في الطب الباطني ووكيل كلية الطب في الدوامي. أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا دكتور سعد.
أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بالجميع في هذه المبادرة.
يا أهلا وسهلا بالجميع، ولا نطيل في هذه المقدمات لنبدأ ويستفيد الجميع من هذه الجلسة. نبدأ مباشرة بسؤال للدكتور علي يتداول خلال هذه الفترة، ونستفتح جلستنا بسؤال عن كورونا المتحور والطفرات الجينية التي تغير من شكل وقوة هذا الفيروس. هل هذا فعلا دكتور علي ما حدث مع فيروس كورونا؟
نعم، بعد بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. أشكر لكم هذه الاستضافة وأرحب بالجميع. بالنسبة لموضوع الطفرات، هي متوقعة في الفيروسات، وذلك لأمرين. الأول كثرة الانتشار، حيث يحدث خلل في التسلسل الجيني في أثناء نسخ الحمض النووي. الأمر الثاني لكثرة التأقلم مع البيئة المحيطة، فإن الطفرات تكون متوقعة. من المعلوم الفيروسات، هناك فيروسات تسمى DNA وفيروسات تسمى RNA. فيروسات الRNA التي منها فيروس كورونا يكون لها القدرة على التحور والقدرة على أن يكون فيها طفرات كثيرة كل ما زادت مدة انتشار المرض. في كل مرة يتم نسخ مئات الآلاف من الحمض RNA تتغير القواعد النيتروجينية AGCU ليحدث تغير في الحمض النووي، إما بزيادة أو نقصان أو استبدال، ثم يجري هذا التغير في السلاسل والانتشار اللاحق. للأسف أن قدرة فيروسات الRNA على إصلاح وصيانة هذه الطفرات ضعيفة أو ذات فعالية محدودة، لذلك فالمتوقع أن هذه الطفرات تكون في ازدياد مع الوقت. وحتى نفهم أكثر هذه الطفرات، أنها إما أن تعطل الفيروس وتجعله مسلوب الإرادة، وإما أن تكون بلا تأثير، وإما أن تزيد من ضراوته. والأغلب أن الفيروسات حتى تتأقلم مع البيئة أنها تتجه لأن تكون أقل ضراوة ولكنها أكثر انتشارا. وهذا يفسر بعض النظريات العلمية التي تكلمت سابقا على الإنفلونزا الأسبانية، وكيف أن هذه التطورات والتحولات والطفرات الجينية هي التي أسهمت في توقف الجائحة لاحقا. بالنسبة لفيروس كورونا تم رصد إلى الآن أكثر من 20,000 طفرة جينية، وبعضها في البروتين المعروف بسبايك الذي يحيط بالفيروس، والذي يعتبر المدخل للدخول للخلية في أثناء مهاجمة خلايا الجسم. والدراسات إلى الآن تشير أن هذه الطفرات إلى الآن لم تجعل كوفيد 19 أكثر خطورة، وإن كانت أثرت بشكل أو بآخر على نسبة الانتشار، ولا زلنا بانتظار الدراسات خصوصا في الدول التي طرأ عليها هذا التحور في الطفرات. نعم.
جميل جميل دكتور. يعني أنت تذكر الآن أن التحورات التي حدثت لفيروس كورونا هي كثيرة جدا، ولكن حولت هذا الفيروس إلى فيروس أضعف في الغالب.
نعم صحيح.
لكن هناك سؤال يتبادر مباشرة بعد هذا السؤال: هل التطعيمات أو اللقاحات الموجودة الآن أخذنا مدة السنة تقريبا لتصنيع لقاحات خاصة بفيروس كورونا، هل هذه اللقاحات الموجودة تحمي وتقي بإذن الله من هذه التحورات، أم نحن بحاجة إلى صنع لقاحات جديدة تقي من هذه التحورات؟
أشكرك على هذا السؤال دكتور معاذ. في الحقيقة أن اللقاح أو التحصين هي وسيلة بسيطة وسهلة لتهيئة جهاز المناعة للتعرف على الفيروس فور دخوله ولإنتاج الأجساد المضادة، وبالتالي تذكر المرض وكيفية مكافحته بكل فعالية في وقت وجيز. اللقاحات المصممة والمصنعة حاليا تحدث استجابة مناعية باستخدام نطاق واسع مما ذكرنا من أسبايك الذي يغطي هذا الفيروس، وينتج جهاز المناعة أجسام مضادة تعرف علميا بوليكلونال أنتيبوديز. ومن المستبعد جدا أن هذه الطفرات ستغير كامل الشكل للبروتين أسبايك في خلال الفترة اليسيرة القادمة. لذلك فاللقاحات المتوفرة حاليا كافية، أقولها كافية، لتوفير الحماية حتى مع وجود هذه الطفرات والتحورات. لا يجب علينا أن ننتظر حتى تحدث طفرات جديدة ثم نصنع لقاحات جديدة، بل علينا المبادرة لأخذ هذه اللقاحات، وبدل أن يكون هناك انتظار سلبي فلا بد من الأخذ بالاحترازات والمبادرة باللقاحات، لأن هذا هو الأمل الكبير لمكافحة هذه الجائحة.
جميل جميل جدا. ننتقل دكتور سعد، بسبب قربكم من هذا المجال أيضا يجعلنا نتساءل: إذا كانت اللقاحات الموجودة لدينا تحمي بإذن الله من هذا الفيروس، فهل بالإمكان معرفة طريقة عملها وأهميتها أيضا لاحتواء هذا الفيروس؟
تمام. أولا السلام عليكم، أرحب بالجميع في هذه المبادرة. طبعا اللقاحات بشكل عام سواء الخاصة بفيروس كورونا أو اللقاحات المتوفرة الموجودة عندنا تعتبر هي وسيلة تحصين، وهي وسيلة بسيطة وآمنة وفعالة للوقاية من الأمراض، فهي تعتبر وقاية وتحصين. فبعدها إن شاء الله يكون في وقاية من المرض نفسه. يكون عمل اللقاح بأن بعد أخذ اللقاح الجهاز المناعي يتعرف على الفيروس، بعدها ينتج أجسام مضادة وهي بروتينات ينتجها الجهاز المناعي بشكل طبيعي. بعد ذلك يصير الجهاز المناعي يتذكر الفيروس وكيفية محاربته، فبدلا من أن نصاب بالفيروس ونبدأ بعده علاج المرض نفسه، فنكون مع اللقاح بإذن الله نمنع الوصول إلى الإصابة بإذن الله، فيكون محصنين ويكون عندنا وقاية من المرض بإذن الله. فهذه أهمية وفائدة اللقاحات.
تمام، الله يعطيك العافية دكتور سعد. لكن هناك من يقول أن اللقاحات الموجودة الآن هي تضعف الجهاز المناعي وتزيد من حدة المرض إذا كان الشخص مصاب بكورونا، خصوصا ما يتداول خلال هذه الفترة من وفاة أحد الفنانين في أحد الدول بسبب إصابته بفيروس كورونا بعد أخذ اللقاح. هل هذه المعلومة صحيحة أم هي خاطئة؟
طبعا اللقاح مثل ما قلنا يزيد من فعالية الجهاز المناعي بشكل طبيعي، فعلشان كذا ما طبيعيا ما راح ينزل أو يضعف الجهاز المناعي بسبب اللقاح. بالعكس اللي راح يصير أنه ترتفع الاستجابة الجهاز المناعي للفيروس نفسه للوقاية من المرض. فهل هذا اللقاح أدى إلى حدة المرض في وفاة الشخص؟ طبعا ما في أي أساس علمي للكلام هذا. ممكن الناس والإعلام تناسوا أن الشخص كان مصاب أصلا بفيروس كورونا، لكن توافق أنه أخذ اللقاح بعدها بيوم أو يومين، فنسوا أن إحنا فقدنا كثير من اللي حولنا بسبب اللقاح رحمة الله عليهم أجمعين، وركزوا على أن اللقاح هو السبب. لكن لا يوجد أي أساس علمي على أن اللقاح ينقص من الجهاز المناعي أو يزيد من حدة المرض، لكن العكس صحيح، يزيد من استجابة الجهاز المناعي وطريقة محاربته للفيروس، ومع ذلك فيقلل من حدة الأمراض.
جميل جميل. نعزو يعني نذكر أن قد تكون المشكلة الأساسية هي في إصابتهم، قد يكون إصابة الشخص بفيروس كورونا قبل أخذه اللقاح، وفيروس كورونا أدى إلى وفاة العديد من الناس، واللقاح قد يكون سبب وقاية كبير للعديد منهم أيضا.
صحيح.
لكن هذا يجرنا دكتور سعد لسؤال آخر، هل يمكن أخذ عدوى كورونا من شخص مصاب بعد أخذ التطعيم؟ يعني أنا ممكن أخذ التطعيم اليوم، هل ممكن إني أصاب أو غير ممكن؟
طبعا التطعيم إلى الآن ما فيه أي دراسات أثبتت أن المحصن أو الحاصل على التطعيم لا يصاب بالعدوى، لكن ممكن يكون يصاب بالعدوى، يعتبر كناقل للفيروس، لكن ما يكون ما يصاب بالمرض نفسه. فنحب نوجه الجميع ممن أخذوا اللقاح سواء الجرعة الأولى أو الجرعة الثانية بالالتزام بالاحترازات الوقائية إلى أن نصل إن شاء الله إلى 70% من عدد السكان يكونون آخذين اللقاح، فهنا نصير بإذن الله حققنا التحصين المجتمعي ضد كورونا. لكن لا يمنع أن تنقل العدوى إلى شخص وأنت ما أصبت بالمرض، فيجب علينا الالتزام بالاحترازات الوقائية.
جميل جميل. طيب دكتور علي، نرجع لك دكتور علي بموضوع مهم أيضا وورد كثير من الأسئلة الحضور. ما هي اللقاحات الآن الموجودة لدينا في المملكة العربية السعودية المتوفرة؟
نعم. إذا نظرنا نظرة عالمية سنجد أن هناك عدد من اللقاحات قد تجاوزت مراحل التجارب غير السريرية ثم التجارب السريرية، ثم اعتمدت وتمت إجازتها وفسحها من بعض المنظمات الدولية مثل الFDA هيئة الغذاء والدواء الأمريكية. لكن الموجود حاليا والذي كان له قصب السبق في البروز ولا الدراسات الكثيرة التي عالجت هذا اللقاح هما لقاحان. الأول ما يعرف بلقاح فايزر بايونتيك، والثاني إكسفورد استرازينيكا. نأتي للأول. اللقاح الأول هو عبارة عن لقاح شركة فايزر الأمريكية مع شركة بيونتيك الألمانية، قامت بإعداد هذا اللقاح وأجيز في ديسمبر 2020، وهو عبارة عن جرعتين تؤخذ كحقن عضلي بينهم 3 إلى 6 أسابيع، تعطى لمن كان عمره 16 عاما فأكثر. أما بالنسبة للقاح الثاني أكسفورد استرازينيكا، وهو بالتشارك مع جامعة أكسفورد الشهيرة البريطانية مع استرازينيكا الشركة المعروفة، فقامت بإنتاج هذا اللقاح والذي يعتبر كحقن عضلي أيضا ويستخدم كجرعتين، وتمت إجازته وفسحه في ديسمبر 2020، وهو عبارة عن جرعتين يكون الفاصل بينهم ما بين 4 إلى 12 أسبوعا، نتكلم عن 3 شهور تقريبا. الدراسات والتجارب العلمية كلها تثبت إلى الآن تقارب اللقاحين، التقارب من حيث الفاعلية، التقارب من حيث الحماية من الفيروس، التقارب من حيث المأمونية، والتقارب حتى في بعض الأعراض الجانبية. فنحن نتكلم عن مقاربة، لذلك فالموجود محليا سواء كان فايزر أو أسترازينيكا كلها صالحة وكلها مرشحة لأن يكون عامل وقاية، وهي أمل لإنهاء هذه الجائحة في بلادنا بإذن الله. نعم.
بإذن الله، بإذن الله. جميل. يعني تذكر أن الجميع أن لدينا الآن أسترازينيكا وفايزر وجميعها آمنة وفعالة ومحصنة إن شاء الله ضد فيروس كورونا.
صحيح صحيح.
هل البعض يتساءل دكتور أنا إيش آخذ؟ هل آخذ الفايزر أو آخذ أسترازينيكا؟ هل تنصح بأحدهما؟
في الحقيقة عند المقارنة بينهم لا يفضل أحدهما على الآخر. المطلوب منا كمواطنين وما وفرته الدولة لنا أن نسجل في التطبيق صحتي ثم نذهب للمركز الذي يحدد، والموجود هو الخير وهو الأفضل، فلا يفضل لقاح على لقاح، بل يوصل جميع باللقاح الموجود في المركز القريب هو اللقاح المفضل لكم والذي سيحقق الوقاية بمشيئة الله تعالى.
جميل جميل. دكتور سعد، فيما يخص الأعراض الجانبية، سمعنا ببعض الحالات التي أصيبت بارتفاع درجة الحرارة بعد أخذ اللقاح، هل هذا صحيح ويحدث؟ وهل هناك أعراض جانبية أخرى لبعض اللقاحات من أسترازينيكا أو فايزر ممكن لمن أخذ اللقاح أنه يصاب فيها؟
تمام، ممتاز. بالنسبة لارتفاع درجة الحرارة هذا طبيعي، ولأنه بسبب أنه الجهاز المناعي صار فيه نشاط فصار ينتج أجسام مضادة، فطبيعي أنه يكون فيه ارتفاع في درجة الحرارة. هل هو لازم يكون فيه ارتفاع درجة الحرارة؟ لا، لكن يعتبر من الأعراض الجانبية. الأعراض الجانبية الأخرى طبعا انتفاخ وألم في مكان الحقنة، خمول في الجسم، شعور بالتعب، آلام خفيفة بالعضلات وكامل الجسم، كلها تعتبر أعراض جانبية للقاح، سواء لقاح أسترازينيكا أو لقاح فايزر. بعضهم يسأل مثلا أنا ما جاتني أعراض جانبية، فهل معناه هل اللقاح أثر أو ما أثر؟ وبعضهم يقول أنا جاتني أعراض جانبية من اللقاح، فهل هذا يعني هل يكون تأثير اللقاح يكون عالي؟ لا طبعا، هذه تعتبر أعراض جانبية سواء حدثت أو لم تحدث، ما تعني أن اللقاح فعال ولا غير فعال. طريقة اللي هو تجاوز هذه الأعراض الجانبية بالنسبة لارتفاع درجة الحرارة أو آلام العضلات والشعور بالتعب، مجرد تناول حبتين من البنادول أو المركب العلمي اللي هو الباراسيتامول، بنادول أو فيفادول، لتخفف من هذه الأعراض الجانبية. ألم مكان الحقنة والانتفاخ، ينصح بأنه يوضع كمادة باردة على مكان الحقنة ليختفي الانتفاخ ويختفي اللي هي آلام مكان الحقنة.
جميل جميل، نشكر لك الدكتور سعد هذه الإجابة الشافية. لكن أبغى أرجع برضو للدكتور علي فيما يخص التطعيمات وأمانها. بعض الأسئلة الآن اللي تدور عندنا هنا من الحضور يتساءلون عن الحقائق المنتشرة في خصوصا يوم أمس ويوم قبل أمس، اللي هو عن تطعيم أسترازينيكا وعلاقته بالجلطات لدى الشباب، وخصوصا أن هناك بعض الدول ممكن أوقفت التطعيم بخصوص الموضوع. ممكن تفيدنا حولها دكتور علي؟
نعم صحيح. اللقاحات تعتبر فعالة وآمنة، لأن اللقاحات لها خطوات ومراحل لابد من اختبار اللقاح، اختبار فعاليته، اختبار مأمونيته قبل إنزاله للأسواق وما يسمى البوست ماركتينج ريفيو. عندنا اللقاحات الموجودة تمر بمراحل متعددة من التجارب، تسمى مراحل قبل السريرية سواء في المختبر أو على الحيوانات، وأيضا مراحل سريرية تجرب على 4 مراحل على البشر حتى يتأكد من الجرعات والمأمونية والأعراض الجانبية قبل أن يتم تسويقها أو فسحها لعموم الناس. يتم عادة إعادة تقييم بانتظام للقاحات، ويراقب العلماء باستمرار المعلومات من عدة مصادر بحثاً عن أي علامة قد تشير إلى أن اللقاح له أي مخاطر صحية. الخطوات التي اتخذتها المملكة العربية السعودية في اعتماد اللقاح هي الخطوات الرسمية المعتمدة من هيئة الغذاء والدواء السعودية في اعتماد اللقاحات. طرق علمية مشددة تضمن سلامة التصنيع، سلامة التوريد، ومأمونية اللقاح. إذا تم ظهور بعض الأعراض الجانبية مثل ما ذكر وانتشر إعلاميا بخصوص الجلطات، وقد سجلت حالات يسيرة معزولة، نقول من الناحية الإحصائية نستطيع أن نفرق بين أمرين، ما يسمى بالمصاحبة والسببية، يعني الكورليشن والكوزيشن. أحيانا وجود عرض له علاقة بوقت التطعيم لا يعني بالضرورة أن هذا العرض له علاقة بالتطعيم. أحيانا قد يكون نفس المريض، مثلا قد يكون نفس المريض عنده بعض الأمراض الوعائية التي تسبب الجلطات وصاحب حصولها بعد اللقاح. أحيانا قد يكون بعض الأدوية التي يتناولها هذا المريض قد تكون أسهمت في هذه الجلطات وصاحب ذلك أيضا أن يكون بعد اللقاح. فليس بالضرورة وجود علاقة وقتية أن يكون هناك علاقة سببية أن اللقاح هو السبب. لذلك بعض الدول الآن وضعت question mark، علامة استفهام، على اللقاح، تراقب ما زال اللقاح يوزع وما زال يستخدم في أغلب الدول التي بدأت استخدامه، وتراقب هذه الآثار هل هي حقيقية فعلا ولها علاقة إحصائية. ونحن نتكلم عن لغة إحصائية، لغة أبحاث، نتكلم عن دراسات لا تؤمن إلا بلغة الأرقام. إذا وجدت أسباب إحصائية تؤكد الربط، هنا ننتقل إلى موضوع آخر. لكن إلى الآن لا يوجد سبب علمي ولا دراسات علمية مثبتة تربط بين الأمرين، وأن كل من استخدم اللقاح سيؤدي إلى الجلطات الوريدية أو غيرها. فنحب أن نؤكد إلى الآن مأمونية اللقاح ووقايتها من كورونا لا تزال عالية ولا يزال هو المنصوح به. وأريد أن أنبه إلى نقطة أخيرة، وهي أن المعلومات الأكيدة تؤخذ من المصادر الأكيدة. وزارة الصحة السعودية عندنا سعودي CDC، المركز مكافحة الأمراض المعدية في السعودية، هذان المصدران هما المصادر الرئيس. إذا أردت أن تعرف معلومة صحيحة قد قام بتحليلها ومراجعتها عدد من العلماء السعوديين أهل الخبرة وأهل المعرفة الطويلة، فارجع إلى هذين الموقعين، وزارة الصحة وهيئة الغذاء والدواء السعودية، بالإضافة إلى سعودي CDC. نعم.
جميل جدا، جميل جدا، الله يعطيك العافية دكتور علي. معناته يعني اللي نسمع بعد ما نسمع هذا الكلام وبعد ما نسمع الإجراءات اللي حدثت مثلا في بعض الدول اللي صار عندها هذا الشيء، هذا يعطينا مؤشر على مدى أمان التطعيمات واللقاحات اللي موجودة لدينا. معناته أنه أي حدث زي ما حدث الآن بسبب الجلطات الآن الوريدية. الجلطات الوريدية حدثت فيما ظهر وأعلن في الدنمارك أنها واحدة حالتين في المليونين تقريبا. فبالتالي ومع ذلك تم توقف العمل خلالها للمراجعة ومراجعة وفحص الحالات من جديد. فهذا مبشر خير ويدعونا للتفاؤل بأمان هذه التطعيمات. دكتور سعد، بعض الشباب الآن أو بعض الحضور هنا يسأل عن الحساسية من هذه التطعيمات، أو بمعنى أصح نحن لا نعلم الآن الحساسية من التطعيمات هذه، ما حد راح يعرف إلا بعد ما ياخذ التطعيم. السؤال اللي يتبادر للذهن، هل هناك موانع لاستخدام هذه التطعيمات، أو هل أنا شخص مصاب بحساسية مفرطة مثلا لشيء معين أو حساسية بسيطة لأكل معين، هل هذا يمنعني الآن من استخدام هذا التطعيم؟
تمام، ممتاز. بالنسبة للقاحات ففي عندنا نوعين، في عندنا موانع وفي عندنا محاذير. الموانع اللي تمنع الشخص من أخذ اللقاح هي تقريبا 3. الحساسية من اللقاح نفسه أو أحد مكوناته، مثلا شخص أخذ اللقاح الأول وبعدها صار عنده حساسية أو ردة فعل من اللقاح، هنا ينصح بأنه ما يأخذ الجرعة الثانية. المانع الثاني اللي هو الحمل، فهنا يعتبر هذا مانع لأنه لا تتوفر لدينا إحصائيات كافية انها تثبت سلامه اللقاح في الحمل، والاطفال نفس الشيء، لانه لا يوجد دراسات او لا يوجد داتا متوفره لدينا تثبت سلامه او اللقاح في الاطفال او الحوامل. بالنسبه للمحاذير، المحاذير تعتبر الحساسيه المفرطه، مثل حساسيه السمك، حساسيه بعض الفستق او المكسرات، اللي يحتاج الشخص لفتره من الفترات انه ياخذ الابره الخاصه بالحساسيه او ما تعرف بالابنفرين. هذه تعتبر من انواع الحساسيه المفرطه اللي لازم يكون الشخص اذا حاب يطعم يكلم الطبيب اللي موجود في موقع التطعيم، فيقول له انا عندي الحساسيه هذه. ممكن يقرر الدكتور وقتها انه يعطيه اللقاح، ويصبر بعدها من نص ساعه الى ساعه يكون في الانتظار بعد اللقاح، يشوف من سلامه ويتاكد من سلامه الشخص انه ما اصيب باي اعراض، ما يصيب اي رده فعل من اللقاح. هذه تعتبر موانع، ففيها انه ممكن ياخذ اللقاح او لا ياخذ اللقاح. هذه تعتبر موانع وليست تعتبر محاذير وليست موانع. الشيء اللي حاب اوضحه، مثلا الحساسيه من الغبار، الحساسيه او الربو او حساسيه الانف، هذه لا تعتبر من الحساسيات اللي تمنع او تكون محاذير لاخذ اللقاح. فقط الحساسيه الاكل او اللي هي تعتبر المضادات الحيويه اللي يحتاج الشخص انه في مره من مرات انه ياخذ اللي هو ابره الحساسيه او ما تسمى في الابنفرين، هذه تعتبر اللي هي من المحاذير وليست من الموانع.
جميل جميل، الله يعطيك العافيه دكتور سعد. وهناك سؤال يتبادر كثير الان بين الحضور اللي هو الاختيار بين التطعيمين، ولعل الدكتور علي اجاب عن هذا السؤال اجابه جميله ووافيه بانه لا يوجد هناك اختلاف بين التطعيمين وجميعها آمنة وفعالة ضد هذا الفيروس، والمهم منها أن يحجز الشخص الموعد وما أخذ من التطعيمات فهو صالح بإذن الله. في سؤال ممكن برجع للدكتور سعد فيه، يتبادر برضه في أكثر من مرة، هل يمكن إصابة الفرد في الفترة بين التطعيمتين بفيروس كورونا؟
تمام. طبعا الإحصائيات قالت أن بعد التطعيمة الأولى بأسبوعين تصل الحماية إلى ما يقارب 50%، ففيه عندنا 50% أن نصاب بفيروس كورونا. ممكن أصاب بالفيروس، نعم، بعد الجرعة الأولى ممكن أصاب بالفيروس بعد الجرعة الثانية. طبعا بعد الجرعة الثانية مدة أسبوعين إلى 3 أسابيع حتى تصل النسبة إلى تقريبا فوق 90%. 90% معناها أنه ما راح تصاب بالمرض إن شاء الله. عندك 10% ممكن تصاب فيها. هل مثل ما قلنا سابقا هل يمنع نقل العدوى؟ لا، إلى الآن ما يمنع نقل العدوى، ما في أي معلومات وصلت إلينا أنه يمنع العدوى. ممكن أن تصير مطعم الجرعة الثانية وجلست بعد الجرعة الثانية مدة 2 أو 3 أسابيع، لكن جلست مع شخص مصاب بفيروس كورونا، ممكن أن تصير حامل وتروح لشخص ثاني وتعديه، لكن أنت ما طلع عندك أعراض. فعلشان كذا كنا نقول أنه لازم نلتزم بالإجراءات الاحترازية إلى أن نصل إلى 70% من سكان المملكة العربية السعودية يكونوا كلهم حصلوا على التطعيم. فهنا ممكن نبدأ يخف الإجراءات الاحترازية. وطبعا ما في أحد بيسوي خطوة تخفيف الإجراءات الاحترازية إلا بعد طبعا ما يكون في توصية من وزارة الصحة.
ممتاز. هذا ممكن يجعلني أسأل الدكتور علي، بعد هذه المعلومات الجميلة عن اللقاح، ممكن المستمع يتساءل بشأن الإجراءات الاحترازية. هل يجب علي أنا كوني شخص أخذت التطعيم أن ألتزم بها، ولا خلاص أنا أكتفي بأخذ اللقاح ويحميني ويحمي غيري من هذا الفيروس؟
نعم صحيح، هذا سؤال يكثر الحديث عنه، وهو هل اللقاح كافي في إنهاء المعاناة؟ الجواب بطبيعة الحال اللقاح نعم يوفر الحماية من الإصابة العامة. اللقاح يمنع من المرض الشديد خاصة ومن حالات التنويم في المستشفيات والوفيات، لكن هذا لا يعني أبدا أن من يحصل على اللقاح أنه لا ينقل الفيروس لغيره، قد يصاب وينقل لغيره وهو لا يعلم. لم تظهر عليه الأعراض، نعم، لكونه قد أخذ اللقاح، لكن قد ينقل لغيره ممن قد يتعرض وقد يكون من كبار السن أو أصحاب الأمراض المناعية أو نحوه. لذلك يجب الاستمرار في الاحترازات الوقائية حتى بعد استكمال التطعيم. لابد من الاستمرار في لبس الكمام، لابد من الاستمرار في التباعد الاجتماعي، تعقيم الأيدي في الأماكن العامة، تجنب التجمعات قدر الإمكان. ويجب أيضا أن يلتزم الجميع بذلك وبإرشادات وزارة الصحة حتى تتم السيطرة الكاملة على هذه الجائحة، ونسأل الله التوفيق للجميع.
بإذن الله. في سؤال برضو تكرر كثير بخصوص بعض الأمراض المزمنة. أشخاص يقولون أنا لم أخذ التطعيم ولدي مرض السكر ومرض الضغط ومرض الكوليسترول ومصاب بالسمنة، والدي معي في البيت، فهل تنصحني أني أخذ هذا اللقاح أم أنه سيزيد من مضاعفات بعض الأمراض لدي ويسبب لي مشاكل أخرى؟
من الفئات التي لها أولوية من الفئات التي
نعم.
لها أولوية في موضوع اللقاح هي الفئات أصحاب الأمراض المزمنة كما ذكرت، الضغط والسكر، وكذلك بعض الأمراض المناعية، الذئبة الحمراء، نتكلم عن أمراض الروماتويد ونحوها من الأمراض التي يأخذ نسأل الله لهم الشفاء الذين يتناولون بعض الأدوية المناعية أو الكورتيزون التي تخفض من المناعة. هذه الفئات كلها من الفئات المعنية بالدرجة الأولى ومن الفئة الأولى التي تستحق اللقاح أولى من غيره. لذلك وزارة الصحة نظرا لطبيعة التوريدات المتعاقبة جعلت فئات. الفئة الأولى جعلتها أصحاب إما الأمراض المزمنة أو العمر الذي تزيد أعمارهم على 65 فأكثر، أو الذين يكونون أكثر عرضة كأصحاب السمنة ونحوهم. فأقول هؤلاء فقط عليهم استشارة الطبيب الخاص الذي يراجعون معه. وأما بالنسبة للقاح فكل الدراسات الموجودة حاليا تؤكد مأمونية اللقاح لهذه الفئة.
جميل. سابقا وبداية مع بداية اللقاحات كان موضوع الحمل كان ممنوع للحامل أن تأخذ اللقاح، لكن في الأيام الأخيرة أصدرت وزارة الصحة بيان بمستوى أمان عالي للتطعيم للحامل. سابقا كان يقول أن بعض الأسئلة كانت ترد كثير لنا في العيادات أنه أنا أخذت اللقاح ثم اكتشفت أني حامل، فكان وزارة الصحة لا تذكر أي شيء بهذا الخصوص. لكن الآن الموضوع الحمل، هل الحمل مانع من موانع أخذ اللقاح أم لا؟ ممكن الدكتور علي تجاوبنا على السؤال؟
نعم، في إحصائيات وزارة الصحة وآخر التجارب أو آخر الأبحاث العلمية التي وصلت إلى أن هذا اللقاح الجديد أنه علينا أن نتأنى إلى بعض الفئات، فئة الأطفال أقل من 16 سنة، فئة الحمل، ومن لديهم حرارة تزيد عن 38 درجة مئوية، نتأنى حتى تزول هذه الإصابات. القضية والمرجع إلى الدراسات العلمية، كلما تواجدت دراسات علمية تؤكد فاعلية اللقاح لفئة معينة ننصح فيه. إذا وجدت أو لم توجد دراسات فهنا نتوقف حتى يظهر وحتى تصدر لنا بعض التجارب أو بعض الدراسات العلمية التي تؤكد مأمونية اللقاح. فلذلك هذه الفئات التي ذكرت نتأنى إلى الآن. المرضع لا إشكال في أن المرضع لها أن تأخذ اللقاح وترضع طفلها ولا إشكال في التأثير. أما الحمل فهذا يرجع إلى التعليمات والتوصيات الصادرة من وزارة الصحة ومتابعة الجديد في هذا الخصوص.
جميل جميل جميل. سؤال أخير لكما ولي بعد برضو في هذا الموضوع وورد كثيرا بهذا الخصوص. هل الدكتور علي دراج والدكتور سعد الصعب أخذوا اللقاحات أم لا؟
هناك صور في الجوال موثقة، ولو أردت لكشفت على آثار آثار الجرعة. لكن نعم، أما بالنسبة لي فأخذت اللقاح، ونسأل الله عز وجل الحفظ والوقاية للجميع.
اللهم آمين. اللهم آمين.
اللهم آمين. طبعا أخذت الجرعة الأولى الحمد لله، بعد أسبوع إن شاء الله باخذ الجرعة الثانية بإذن الله.
ماشي.
بإذن الله، إن شاء الله ينفع بها. أنا أيضا أخذت اللقاح في هذا الخصوص، ونسأل الله التوفيق والحماية وحماية شعبنا وجميع البشر من هذا الفيروس بإذن الله. بهذا نصل إلى نهاية جلستنا الحوارية لهذا اليوم، وسعدنا جدا بمشاركتكم واستماعكم، ونشكر الدكتور علي دراج والدكتور سعد الصعب لتكرمهم بتوضيح الحقيقة والإجابة على أسئلة الحضور. شكرا لكم، ونلتقيكم بإذن الله في جلسة أخرى بإذن الله.
شكرا للجميع.
العفو، وشكرا للجميع.
يا أهلا وسهلا.
Okay, now we will. أول شيء شكرا للجلسة الأولى والزملاء. راح نبدأ الجلسة في البداية محاضرة عامة باللغة الإنجليزية للمجتمع، وبعدها جلسات علمية، 3 جلسات ومحاضرات علمية باللغة الإنجليزية. So now we will start our English sessions, first with a preliminary session for the community. I will be the speaker, then that we will go to the scientific sessions. I just will share my slides. Okay, I hope now you are seeing my slides on the screen.
Yes, sir, your screen is visible.
Okay, perfect. Good evening, everyone. My talk will be about the measures taken by the Kingdom against COVID-19. I am Dr. Adel Al-Sinaid, Assistant Professor and Consultant of Dermatology and Vice Dean of Affairs. We will go through stations in this journey, major events and efforts, technology that have been used, international opinion, and we will talk about the vaccine. These efforts have been undertaken under the leadership of King Salman and the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Saudi Arabia has made great efforts in the face of the emerging COVID-19, starting with proactive decisions and imposing strict precautionary measures since the announcement of the emergence of the virus in China. A specialized committee has been created to follow up on the developments pertaining to the new coronavirus, consisting of 24 government agencies and headed by His Excellency, the Minister of Health. The committee was commissioned by the leadership to take all required steps and precautions necessary to confront the epidemic, its outbreak. I will move to some stations in this fight. In March the 2nd, 2020, Saudi Arabia confirms its first coronavirus case, an arrival from Iran via Bahrain. please follow me from right to left. Just day after the first case, after. Then at 8th of March, education transferred to online education using e-learning platforms. Very fast decisions and important decisions from the early stages. Financial support for WHO, suspension of indoor meetings for more than person. Suspension of sport, closing gyms, and suspension of international flights on mid of March. Major decisions has been made, including suspension of prayers at mosques, suspension of domestic flight, royal order for curfew to prevent spread of the disease, with them to travel between 13 Saudi regions. By the end of March, Saudi Arabia started the exceptional G20 virtual meeting. Royal decisions to provide free health care to violators of residence and work regulations. Royal decision to cover 60% of employees' salary for Saudi citizens in private sectors. In April, Ministry of Interior applied complete lockdown of 24 hours in some cities. Major events and efforts. King Salman delivered his speech to the people. He highlighted, "Rest assured that we are very keen on providing the necessary medication, food, and living necessities for citizens and residents of this blessed land." He recognized the efforts of our health sector professionals. Saudi Arabia took the initiative to hold an exceptional virtual summit for G20 leaders to coordinate global efforts against coronavirus and has budgeted $500 million. Crown Prince conducted high-level discussions with world leaders to coordinate global efforts against novel coronavirus, including Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of UK, Emmanuel Macron, President of France, Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, Angela Merkel, Chancellor of Germany, and Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, and others. Press conference held by the Ministry of Health by Dr. Mohammed Al-Abdul Ali to give daily updates about the situation of COVID-19 in Saudi Arabia and to raise the awareness among the community. 34 hospitals have been equipped throughout the kingdom to deal with any coronavirus. More than 80,000 beds and 8,000 ICU beds, more than 2,000 isolation rooms, and millions of medical supplies. A national central laboratory, in addition to 19 regional laboratories conducting PCR tests with a capacity of 14,000 tests per day. Saudi Center of Disease Prevention and Wiqaya, Saudi Center for Disease Prevention and Control, Wiqaya, delivered test guidelines, awareness, updates, alerts, and genetic sequencing. The National Health Emergency Operation Center acted as command and control room, orchestrating and implementing the ministry's rules with crisis and disaster management. Entry control all over the country for the indoor facilities through temperature control and using specialized application that would show the status of the individual if he is infected, got contact with confirmed cases of COVID-19 or if he is or she healthy. So then the individual could be allowed to enter. Clinics and mass testing centers all over the country with the aim to detect as early as possible COVID-19 cases and to apply the precautions required, including isolation if needed. Even as drive-through by the car, you get the test. Not only that, but active mass screening for COVID-19 cases in some districts. Here, the aim is to find any hidden case because we know that some cases are asymptomatic. So the aim here is to fight the COVID-19 from very early stage and to control any hidden case. Hajj and Umrah. Major decisions have been made to limit the number and to control entry, using also application to request for permission. Volunteer. Health volunteer platform launched to enable volunteers from different sectors to contribute in the fight against the novel coronavirus. In 120 minutes, 100,000 volunteers. 6,000 Saudi health practitioners helped the world in around 27 countries. Now let's watch this Saudi doctor story from Italy.
With the spread of coronavirus in northern Italy, I received a call from my embassy on the 9th of March. And the next day, I received a call from the ambassador, Prince Faisal bin Sattam, and he told me, I support you, and if you need anything, you or the hospital, if there are some lack of equipment, we are really happy to provide these equipments. I miss my mom, my brothers and sisters, my friends. I miss camping in the desert in winter.
Now let's move to technology.
With
applications that have been used in different sectors. The aim is to facilitate getting the health care, getting appointments, getting the prescriptions through online applications, also to get the request for doing the test. Applications also have been used to prevent the spread of the disease. The mobiles sending and receiving signals from nearby people if you get in nearby contact by an infected case. So you get the alert advising you to do the necessary test. COVID-19 dashboard, Saudi Arabia, this dashboard gives statistics about the cases in Saudi Arabia as daily basis. Ministry of Health introduced call center 937, receiving calls from all the people 24 hours all over the week, free of charge and answered by specialized doctors, giving the needed medical care. Delivery services through apps. Certain delivery service has been authorized and allowed to deliver during curfew. They are applying special precautions, including wearing masks, using special packaging, and social distancing. Distance learning. During this pandemic, the education has been transferred to online education in the schools and in the universities, using different online platforms. 20 AIN TV channels for education for students in the schools has been introduced by Ministry of Education. So students could review and revise the subjects through TV or even through the YouTube channels. International opinion. Let's take a look at some of the international opinion regarding the efforts by Saudi Arabia. So Dr. Tedros Adhanom, Director General of the WHO, thanked Saudi Arabia for the great support to WHO in this critical time. Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of the UK, with his message.
This has been an unprecedented year, the greatest upheaval many of us will face in our lifetimes. Unfortunately, circumstances have meant that we couldn't meet in Saudi Arabia. I couldn't go to Saudi Arabia to meet everybody in person, but I want to thank King Salman for the kingdom's leadership of the G20 in turbulent times.
And we move to another opinion by John Abizet, US Ambassador in Saudi Arabia.
Hello, everybody. I'm John Abizet. I'm the ambassador here in Riyadh for the United States of America to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I know that most of the Americans that are here, we've got about 80,000 of you out there, are working in jobs that are important jobs for your families, important for the kingdom, and of course important for the United States. But I'd also like to say to everybody that you need to know what I'm advising our people here at the embassy, and I'm actually advising Americans that are in the kingdom that under the current circumstances, I would strongly consider sheltering in place. Food supply is good, emergency services are sound, medical systems functioning. There's a lot of reasons to shelter in place in Saudi Arabia that the Saudi administration, the US administration is constantly looking at the statistics to understand when's the right time to ease some of the restrictions. But my personal opinion is it won't happen anytime soon. The decision to leave is personal. Make sure you make it for the right reason. Consider how things are here. Shelter in place here, if that's what you decide. That's certainly what I advise our people here and would advise my family. But right now, I'm confident about America's approach to the problem at home. I'm confident about Saudi Arabia's approach to the problem here in the kingdom. And I wish all of you the best in your health and safety and whatever else you may be doing here in the great kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
France ambassador in his speech highlighted the Saudi doctors remaining in France are showing remarkable courage. Now let's go to vaccine. By the end of 2020, FDA approved the first vaccine. And it was very important for the Saudi government to get this vaccine to all people in Saudi Arabia to control the spread of the disease in a very regulated fashion. So applications has been introduced. People could request for the vaccine, giving priorities for high-risk people, elderly, people with comorbidities, frontliners, and healthcare providers. Vaccine centers now available all over the country, giving the vaccine and King Salman and Crown Prince were among the first people to get the vaccine. This to deliver a confident and very clear message that this vaccine is safe and it is our way to fight this pandemic. A health digital passport introduced by Minister of Health. So people who got vaccinated will get a health digital passport showing they are immune from and protected from the COVID-19. Now, more than 1 million got vaccinated, and we hope we reach the 70%.
We are at the COVID-19 vaccine center in Riyadh.
أهلا وسهلا، تفضل الله يعافيك. أهلا وسهلا.
أهلا وسهلا يا أمي، قدامك العافية.
We are at the COVID-19 vaccine center in Riyadh.
أهلا وسهلا، تفضل الله يعافيك. أهلا وسهلا.
أهلا وسهلا يا أمي، قدامك العافية.
Vaccination has been always the ultimate solution to control pandemics and communicable diseases. Hopefully, this is the beginning of the last chapter of this global pandemic.
Assalamu alaikum. Nice to see you. How are you all? My experience has been outstanding. It has been professional. It has been well organized. It's been efficient. And it's also been innovative. Everything I see shows me what a tremendous and professional opportunity you've created for the people of Saudi Arabia. I think it's very clear to me that Saudi Arabia approached it in a very wise fashion, in a very organized fashion.
حياك الله أخوي، إثباتك لهند. تفضلي استريحي. أي حياك الله.
Thank you, everyone. And now this is the end of this session, and we will move to the first scientific sessions with 3 lectures today. And stay tuned also, tomorrow we will have another interesting sessions at 7 p.m. So I will stop sharing. Now we will have our first lecture in the scientific sessions with the title Emergence of Mutant COVID-19. This will be given by Dr. Prasanna Mohana Bhaskaran, a microbiologist. He's a graduate from Medical Science and Research from India with post-graduation from India, also Institute of Postgraduate Medical Science and Research. He is Assistant Professor of Microbiology with area of interest in drug resistance mechanism among gram-negative bacteria. He worked in the area of molecular characterization of gram-negative bacteria and publication in the above area in national journals. So welcome, Dr. Prasanna, and we're looking for your talk.
Thank you for your kind words, sir. And I'm Dr. Prasanna. I thank all the dignitaries who are behind this a grand second sure webinar. Let us go into the proper topic. So could you please able me to share my screen, sir?
Yes, now you can.
Yes. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, it's clear.
Fine. So coming to the emergence of mutant COVID-19, we have already conducted a webinar before in a grand manner.
Excuse me, Dr. Prasanna.
Yes, sir.
We don't see your slides yet. We see only the files.
1 minute, sir.
If you could open the PowerPoint first,
Yes,
and
yes,
then
sir.
share.
Are you able to share? See now, sir?
Okay. Yes, it
Fine,
is.
sir?
Yes, now it's clear. Thank
Fine.
you.
Yeah. In the last webinar, we saw about the frank COVID-19 main strain, but there is more and more mutants on the run. So we thought that this webinar, we would highlight more on the mutants of COVID-19. Coming to the famous quote. Why I took this quote is, whenever we think about COVID-19 and its mutants, we have a lot of fear in our mind. So this quote clarifies that nothing in the life is to be feared. It is only to be understood properly, and it is the time for us to understand more so that we become fearless. This was by Marie Curie, a famous scientist behind radioactivity and a Nobel Prize winner. So with this quote, let us go. Coming to this pandemic, there are a lot of stories behind it and a lot of people infected worldwide. And these dashboards will tell you clearly that this pandemic has not left even a single country. So a lot of people are dying, a lot of people are admitted, more in ICU, and now it is the time for vaccination to get rid of this pandemic. So as a common man who comes and attends this webinar, and also a scientific person, we need to clarify certain things. What is meant by mutation? And why the mutation happens? Is the mutation good or bad for us? Why there is a repeated attack of pandemic for the past 1.5 years? And which country mainly harbors these mutants? Do we need to closely monitor these mutant strains? Is it necessary? How to control these mutations? Can I get reinfection due to COVID-19? Sorry, I'm with a lot of questions because it can be in your mind. Does vaccine really protect me? Then, if I take vaccine, why I should follow all the precautionary measures? All these questions will be answered after the end of the session. So you know the basics of coronavirus, A, B, C. I don't want to confuse you with a lot of strains now. Let us concentrate on the center one, B. Okay. So if you take this center one, B, everything started in Wuhan. Okay. Everything started in Wuhan, and this B has got a lot of variants, and it is now spreading like anything in the world and putting all the people into panic. When we see this slide, it comes to the basics of SARS-CoV-2, which is otherwise called as COVID-19 replication. And in this one minute, I will take my cursor to ease you. Coming to this portal of entry, I think for all the people who have well-known scientific knowledge, let us brush up. The SARS-CoV-2 COVID-19 gets themselves attached to the ACE2 inhibitors, which are found on the surface of all the cells. And after the entry of this virus, there is a lot of transcriptional and translational process which takes place. And finally, the virus gets released. So why I am taking this point to introduce you is, lot of drugs are in place, either to stop the entry of the virus into the cell or have an effect on all these transcriptional and translational processes or its release. But till now, the fact is nothing proves to be effective. Coming to the next thing. So they are in analysis regarding the genome of the SARS-CoV-2. And let us have a clear-cut picture about the common things which are happening now, the mutation. When you take the mutation, let us concentrate here in this point. this is the commonest mutation which is taking place now, and N501Y and E484K. I will not confuse you with numbers or alphabets now. Why I have taken this genome is, studying the genome is a confusing concept. Okay, so scientists and vaccine producers, manufacturers, and the scientific team in their units are breaking their head day and night to concentrate on this mutation and produce an effective vaccine against mutant COVID-19. Coming to the next topic, mutants. What commonest mutants are there in the world at present? So let us make it everything simple. I already told you B coronavirus is the commonest coronavirus variant, the type which is circulating all over the world. So we take B 1.1.7 linkage. So linkage means, in this busy slide, I will make it simple for you. Okay, so in this slide, I want to get this cursor. I'm not able to get that. Okay, I think you will be viewing my cursor here. So the E484K mutation is associated with high vaccine resistance, and N501 mutation is having a high transmissibility. So when you take the UK strain in this tabular column, the B 1.1.7 linkage has got the highest transmissibility as published by the nerve tag, that is new emerging respiratory virus transmission and advisory group. This is present in UK. They have analyzed and told, because this was the strain which was circulating in UK, so they did a research on this, and this is the VOC, that is variant of concern. This variant has got 2 mutations, but out of that, N501Y mutation is related directly to the transmissibility. But luckily, this transmissibility can be stopped by vaccine. But when you go to the South African strain, I will explain it to you in the later slides. So first, we will take this United Kingdom variant. This variant of concern was first observed in United Kingdom, to be more in particular regarding the spike protein of the virus at N501Y region, where the amino acid asparagine has been replaced by tyrosine. So this virus, which is in the B 1.1.7 linkage, has been transmitted to the United States because of this virus has been noted only after a certain period. So before the travel restrictions came, this mutant slowly spread among the transmitted among the community. But the only advantage now is, even though it is highly transmissible, it can be effectively blocked by vaccine. So now you know the importance of vaccine. Coming to the next strain, South African strain, it is little bit more virulent, having 2 mutations at E484K and N501Y. As already I told you that the mutant found in UK is highly transmissible, but it can be blocked by vaccine. But here it also has some resistance against vaccination. So better we have the travel restrictions in place and all the precautionary measures in place to stop this variant. Coming to the Brazilian strain, it is the same one like E484K and N501Y mutation. But luckily, this is also less transmitted now because of the travel restriction which is prevalent all over the world. It was observed among the travelers from Brazil when they landed in Japan, Haneda Airport. Okay, so when we take all these variants, how can we stop these new variants getting emerged? The only way is 2 things: vaccine and precautionary measures. Without this, we cannot stop this mutant. And coming to your question, if I get vaccinated, won't these strains affect me? The answer is come in the coming session. Okay, so it will be dealt in detail by some of our experts. Please keep on track. Is surveillance necessary for all these mutations, mutant strains? Of course, yes. Surveillance is a very, very essential because we cannot predict what is happening in our country and around the globe. So the surveillance of these mutants has to be kept in track, and the diagnostic test has to be designed in such a way we detect these mutants. Is there any specific diagnostic test till now? It is on the run now. We are yet to find a definitive one. It has to be designed by polymerase chain reaction PCR. And is there any vaccine against this mutant? Till now, the UK strain can be prevented by vaccine. They are claiming that. Pfizer is claiming that, and Oxford AstraZeneca has claimed that. But we have to wait and watch. Coming to your answers, one by one. So, is the mutants common? Yes, coronavirus are basically RNA virus, and mutation is very common. And is the mutation will affect me? It depends upon the mutant variant which you are affected, either the UK strain or the South African or the Brazilian strain now. That's why there is more waves in the pandemic. We have to wait and watch. Predominantly, it occurred in UK and US. We don't know the reason why it occurred there. Surveillance, yes, of course, it is very important. Precautionary measures and vaccine are the two important things to help us to come out of this pandemic. Reinfection, yes, of course, it is possible with COVID-19 and its variant. Vaccination will protect you. The big answer is yes. To prevent the mutants transmission, we have to follow the vaccination and precautionary measures. Thank you for your patient listening. And I will join with you in the panel discussion if you have any queries. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Prasanna, for your talk and very nice and informative presentation. We will have the answer for important question after in the end, after coming to lectures. So we go now to the next lecture, Global Impact of Mutant COVID-19 by Dr. Danish Dimri. He is a graduate of King George Medical College from India and post-graduation from Sarojini Naidu Medical College, India. He is Associate Professor of Community Medicine with area of interest in epidemiology of non-communicable diseases and public health. Please, Dr. Danish, the mic is yours.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Yes. Respected His Excellency, President of Chakra University, respected Dean Sir, respected Vice Dean Sir, and all my colleagues. I thank you all for allowing me to be a speaker during this webinar. I'll share the screen first. The topic which I'm going to present today is global impact of mutant COVID-19. First, we understand the magnitude of the problem of the pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has led to a dramatic loss of human life worldwide, and it presents an unprecedented challenge to public health, food system, and the work. Nearly half of the world's 3.3 billion global workforce is at the risk of losing their livelihoods. This is as per the joint statement by ILO, International Labour Organization, Food and Agriculture Organization, and the World Health Organization, October 2020. Coming coming to the epidemiology of COVID-19, mutant COVID-19. COVID-19 variant, I will remove this one. COVID-19 variant is seen mainly all over the world in 4 countries, like in USA, it is seen in California, in United Kingdom, where it first started all over the world, and Brazil and South Africa. Coming to the epidemiology of mutant COVID-19. Multiple variants of the virus that causes COVID-19 are circulating all over the world. Firstly, in the United Kingdom, identified a variant called B1.1.7 with a rate of mutation in the fall of 2020. This variant spread more easily and quickly than other variants. This has a power of 70% more rate of transmission as compared to the previous COVID-19 virus. This variant was first detected in the US at the end of December 2020. Another one in South Africa, another variant called B1.351 emerged independently of B1.1.7 in early October 2020. Cases caused by this variant have been reported in the US at the end of January 2021. Next, in Brazil, a variant called P1 emerged that was first identified in travelers from Brazil. This variant was first detected in the US at the end of January 2021. In Saudi Arabia, the Ministry of Health MOH spokesperson have reported 10 cases of new COVID-19 variant. They have fully recovered after being placed under quarantine and intensive follow-up. MOH spokesperson has confirmed that there are no active cases of new mutated virus now in Saudi Arabia. Then the second wave mutant, COVID-19. According to CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Florida leads the country in reported cases of B1.1.7 with 187, followed by California with 145. According to the Centre of Genomics UK, B1.1.7 cases were increasingly reported in the various regions of UK. Global impact, coming to the global impact of pandemic. The COVID-19 is not only a threat to life all over the world, but it has also caused losses of jobs, recession of economy, and trade restrictions. Now we see the COVID-19 risk factor mortality. It has been seen that the COVID-19 cases are mostly concentrated in the Europe, in the Eastern European Union because of aging and cardiovascular diseases, and in the Western European Union because of aging and pregnancy. Then disruption of economy. The economic and social disruption caused by the pandemic is devastating. Tens of millions of people are at risk of falling into extreme poverty, while the number of underage per people, currently estimated at around 690 million, could increase by up to 132 million by the end of the year. This is a joint statement of ILO and FAO and WHO. The war against COVID-19 can be tackled by the global effort from all over the world, and how to stay positive and productive in the war against corona by means of lockdown. Then measures against COVID-19. These are two kinds. One is emergency-specific measures by clinical surveillance and screening policies, or it can be by common pandemic measures by wearing of masks, increased hygiene, personal hygiene, and also by social distancing. Here there is an example from the Harvard Business School that how to do the successful battle strategies COVID-19. To aid the fight against COVID-19, here are 7 key frameworks and appropriate routes in military strategy that are taught in leading agile and strategic programs. They can help your organization adapt quickly and decisively by enabling teams to continuously update plans and actions against the rapidly shifting challenges. First is the fears of fog of war. The fog of stress is when rapid changes in the field are fed back to headquarters, where plans can be updated and renegotiated quickly. To remove the fog, try decision-making frameworks that allow adaptability will work effectively. Focus on quick wins balanced with long-term goals. A focus on quick wins and success in small increments need to be balanced with long-term planning and achievements. Successful battle strategies. Next is the third is the practice the OODA loop. What does this OODA stand for? O stands for observe, next O stands for orientate, D for decide, and A for act. Develop cross-sectional teams able to make decisions in the field. A lengthy analysis process often dilutes the information gathered in field, resulting in valuable time loss, also called decision latency. By contrast, our team of teams approach creates a cross-functional unit whose members have a minimal viable skill necessary to take the necessary steps. Next is the create the right glide path to land a project. A reduction in the number of cases and increasing the rapid iterative feedback between teams, customers, and stakeholders is vital in times of rapid change. Balance realism with optimism. Focusing on the path forward helps teams come together to deliver on the vision. Next is the confront unknowns. Making plans visible for all via clear and transparent communication, embracing a program that is unrelenting and iterative, setting concentrated and focused steps to serve as a guiding set of goals, driving action by accepting uncertainty as a new normal and embracing agility and an operating model that focuses on making decisions in a rapid and iterative manner. Global support. Now is the time for global unity and support, especially the most vulnerable in our societies, particularly in the emerging and the developing world. This is centered by Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. King Salman Humanitarian and Aid and Relief Center was started in 2015 in the framework of Saudi efforts to alleviate the suffering of those in need worldwide. Before I start the summary, I would like to mention that the total number of cases all over the world till date is 107 million cases, and out of these, number of deaths are 2.5 million. So far as Saudi Arabia is concerned, there are confirmed cases of 381,348 cases in Saudi Arabia, and deaths are 6,551. So this leads to a case fatality rate of 2%. The predictor is 3%. So the case fatality rate in Saudi Arabia has been good, that is 2%. Coming to the summary, the SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, had a major impact on human health globally, infecting a large number of people, causing severe disease and its long-term health complications, resulting in death and excess mortality, especially among the older and the vulnerable population. There was interrupting routine healthcare services, disruption to travel, trade, education, and more broadly having a negative impact on people's physical and mental health. Since the start of COVID-19 pandemic, there are several reports of unusual public health events, possibly due to variants of SARS-CoV-2. World Health Organization routinely assesses if these variants of SARS-CoV-2 result in changes in transmissibility, clinical presentation, or is the impact on diagnostic, therapeutic, and vaccine. Thank you. I just wanted to add one more thing. In all over the world, the mutant COVID variants, they are nearly 2,600 total. Out of these 2,600, COVID variant cases all over the world. 2,500 are in UK alone, and rest other countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Danish, for your nice presentation and informative presentation. I would like just to remind all the attendees, if you have questions, you could click on the icon below Q&A and put your question. We will answer all the questions after the coming last presentation. So I encourage you to just write. You could also raise your hand if you'd like to share your question by voice. Now we move to the last lecture before the panel discussion with the title Molecular Diagnosis of Mutant COVID-19. This lecture will be given by Dr. Ahmed Ibrahim Abdel Naim. He is Assistant Professor of Clinical Biochemistry with interest in human molecular genetics. His research and publication he done research in bioinformatics, gene editing, DNA sequencing, human molecular genetics, and PCR. 20 publications in national and international journals. The mic is yours, Dr. Ahmed. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Ali, for this nice words. I hope the screen is appear.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. Thank you for this great opportunity to share in the second tour webinar, cooperation between College of Medicine and Chakra. And thank you for this great opportunity. Your speaker is Dr. Ahmed Abdel Naim, Assistant Professor of Human Molecular Genetics and Clinical Biochemistry at Dawadmi Medical College. We will discuss today 3 important titles: genome structure of COVID-19, novel COVID-19 mutation, molecular diagnosis of COVID-19, and the mutant COVID-19. Genome is a very important part in the virus, so its structure must be known, and what is the benefit from knowing the structure of the virus. First of all, I will give a small feedback about the SARS-CoV-19 structure. COVID-19 is a positive sense single-strand virus, which is enclosed by lipid bilayer. The main structure of the COVID-19 nearly 26 kb to 32 kb in length. So it is one of the most largest virus. If we're looking for this image, this is the electron microscope image for COVID-19, and appear here the spike of the virus. For more detail, if we're looking for the second image here, appear for us that the structure, detailed structure of the virus, where it is consists of 4 protein, important 4 protein, N and S and E and M, in additional to RNA genome in the middle. COVID-19 phylogenetic tree. Phylogenetic tree of this group of virus classify into alpha and beta and gamma and delta. If we look here, there is group of this of coronavirus beta, alpha, gamma, and delta. It's different between alpha and beta and the gamma and the delta according to the sequence of nucleotide for each class, and also the structure of protein producing from this virus. So COVID-19 is follow beta coronavirus, and also it is similar with SARS and MERS. Phylogenetic tree not only covers this part, but gave us more detail about the detailed structure of virus. If we're looking for open read fragment 1 AB gene, we will find that consisting nearly 75% of COVID-19 genome, while S contain nearly 4,000 base pair. The lowest one in weight is E with 228 weight. So we can know now the source of virus, which follow each branch, alpha and beta and data and gamma, and also we know the detail of virus structure, which is the bulk, where the bulk of genes. Molecular diagnosis of COVID-19. Now all information about COVID-19 available in Gene Bank, and all information we need is available in Gene Bank. If we take a look for Gene Bank, we will find that nearly a number of nucleotide sequenced and recorded for COVID-19, nearly 90,000 base pair. It is different from research to another, but it is all of this data is found now in the Gene Bank. In addition to nearly 5,000 clinical trial, a lot of publication, and all information about genome structure of COVID-19 became available. But which out of this, all of this nucleotide, which is the reference sequence for genome structure of COVID-19? NCBI for virus indicating that who indicating the structure of COVID-19, we found that it is the RefSeq. RefSeq means reference sequence. It is the reference sequence for COVID-19 genome, and structure of all genome of COVID-19 is the first one who detected the genome structure of COVID-19. As we see here, it is appear location in China, and it is affect Homo sapien human, and the family of the virus appear, and also genus appear, which is beta coronavirus. All detail here. Is this only the detail we need? It is only the title of the genome. But here, if we take more deep look for the structure, it is also part from a sheet of genome. We found that here number of base pair, which is accurate base pair, nearly 30,000 base pair of RNA. Also, we can find that it is RefSeq, and it means that it is a reference sequence for genome structure. And we can also know the name of the virus and the species of the virus. Not only this information is available, all information. If we take a look here for this blue arrow, we found that it is the 5' end untranslated region, and all information about untranslated region is available. Also, CD coding region, all information about this part is present. In addition to 3' end, which is 3 untranslated region, and also the stem loop of the virus, all of this data is available, and we can get it easily. Bioinformatics not only covering this part, but also covering that we can know the peptide structure and the protein. As we explained before in the beginning of the lecture, that there are 4 types of protein, which is S, and then all of this structure is also available, and the genes responsible for producing this virus is also available. So information now available. All information about the genome structure of COVID-19 is available. Like, for example, open reading fragment 1AP, also structure, open reading fragment 8, N, and also open reading fragment 7B, and M and E and S. All structure, all parts of the virus became known, genome and the protein. This is important example. If we need a specific part from genome of the virus, we can find here, it is with brown color indicating the specific sequence from this part. It is for open reading fragment 1, for example, and this is another fragment here, which is N, gene responsible for producing protein N of the virus. Why we explain this part? We explain this part to shed light on the importance of genome structure and how we can make diagnosis for the virus. Now its genome structure is known, and all of the scientists in this field able to get and able to reach the information easily about the genome, so they can make diagnosis for the virus easily. Crystal structure of COVID-19, it means the protein structure of COVID-19. Also, this is a part from of C terminal domain of nucleocapsid of the COVID-19, and in the other part here appears three-dimensional structure of the protein. If we looking here, we found that the structure of protein appear clearly, and this is very important to indicate the effect of mutation and how the mutation affect in the protein. Another example, if we take a domain of SARS-CoV-19, we found that another structure of the protein, and each color here give us information about the detail of protein structure and the detail of any change occur in the protein. Novel COVID-19 mutation. The most common mutation for all of us is mutations that present in England and in South Africa. But this information is not accurate because nearly more than 12,000 single mutation and polymorphism found in 6 clusters of COVID-19. For example, this table showing us the mutation according to country, where here appear in US, in Canada, in India, and also in some European country appear some mutation. So the mutation of COVID-19 not only 1 or 2 mutations, it is thousands of mutations. What is how we can determine this mutation is, can it cause second wave of pandemic or not? There is very important factor, which is binding free energy between a receptor of domain, between receptor binding domain and angiotensin converting enzyme 2, and also the effect of protein structure, how the mutation cause a change in protein structure. These two factors determine the effect of the mutation. The first one is binding free energy between a receptor of binding domain and angiotensin converting enzyme 2. So we must explain the life cycle of COVID-19 to indicate this point. Life cycle of COVID-19 starting by infection here, and this is the spike of the virus which attached for angiotensin converting enzyme. This receptor present in lung, intestine, and in heart. All of this places for angiotensin converted enzyme 2. The binding between the spike and a receptor cause penetration of the virus to the host cell. Once the virus penetrates the host cell, it is able to control in nucleus and start for secretion its protein and start to using the replication step for himself to producing several virus and destroy the cell. So the binding here between the spike and a receptor, it is the key for entering the cell. It is the main factor for entering the cell. If the binding here is strong and easy to enter from here to the cell, it means that the virus can enter the host cell easily. And also, if the mutation changes this part, novel mutation, it changes this part, it will cause easy penetration for the host cell. This is the first factor, which is the binding energy between the angiotensin converting enzyme and the spike of the COVID-19 virus. Here, this is a chart appeared showing us that group of mutation occurring in all parts of the COVID-19. But the blue part here indicates the mutation which occurring in receptor binding. It means it is occur here in this part. Not all of this mutation cause a second wave or pandemic, because if we're looking for this blue column here, found that this mutation can cause effect, but this mutation not effect, and also this not effect. If we take a look in the lower chart here, we found that some mutation causing negative binding energy. So not all the mutation causing second wave of COVID-19, and not all the mutation causing bad effect for COVID-19. It is depend on place of the mutation, if it is in the receptor binding, or and also depend on the effect of this mutation in free energy between COVID-19 and angiotensin converted enzyme. If we take a look for another image here, the structure of the protein, and here appear effect of each mutation in the protein structure separately. This is very important also. If we make compare between the protein, this is the blast structure between protein of SARS and protein of COVID-19. SARS were a pandemic, but not pandemic like COVID-19 pandemic. This different due to, as explained here, in position 681 and 684. This position contains sequence different between COVID-19 and SARS. This sequence goes more spread and fast spread for COVID-19, and the case it to be transferred for pandemic. Molecular diagnosis of COVID-19 and the mutation in COVID-19. But there is a very important question: how scientists collected all of this data and information about novel virus in a very short time, and how they able to make diagnosis in lab for new unknown virus. How will molecular biologists able to make diagnosis for this virus, and how they able to know the structure of this virus? For answer of this question, first part to solve this is next generation sequencer. Next generation sequencer gave us rapid, accurate, and fast technique for give us whole genome of the virus in a very limited time. After separation of the RNA of virus and transfer it into cDNA directly using next generation sequencer. Next generation sequencer have a great achievement in knowing the genome structure of COVID-19. As we know here that in January 2020, scientists able to publish all genome structure of the COVID-19, and it is considered as a miracle. Second part, technology of bioinformatics technology, where a primer design and optimization of PCR. Here it is very important part. The NCBI also contain, and also GenBank contain information how we can design primer and optimize the PCR condition to do accurate PCR and accurate diagnosis. So if we're looking here for this part of this image, we found that we can easily design primer after we know the genome structure of the virus or human or animal. Knowing genome structure gave a chance to easy design primer and easy optimize it PCR condition. Third part is the RT-PCR assay, because the RNA is fragile and can be destroyed easily using the exo and endonuclease. It can be decreased, and it's very fragile. So it must be transferred for another part or another molecule, more stable molecule. In RT-PCR, occur transferring for RNA into stable molecule, which is DNA more stable. Take a copy from RNA and transfer it onto DNA. By this, we can make diagnosis for COVID-19. Because also and using tag and DNA polymerase, so it will be very simple. This is image showing how we can transfer the genome of COVID-19 into stable molecule, which is cDNA, and this molecule is stable and easy to store and easy to produce from this information. My conclusion: COVID-19, one of the most largest virus. COVID-19 is follow the beta family. Genome structure of COVID-19 and the novel mutation available. All of this data is available in GenBank. Also, I want to explain something important. In human and in eukaryotic, there is a proofreading process for our genome during replication or transcription, even during the protein sense. But in virus, this process is not working well. For gives them chance for adaptation and for resistance for any drug. and for continuous and for improving themselves. In human, this proofreading working well because any mutation can cause a danger disease. Protein structure of COVID-19 also available in gene bulk. Knowledge of genome structure, COVID-19 and the protein structure help in selection good vaccine and help also in treatment of COVID-19. There is several types of COVID-19 mutation, some of them harmful and some of them not effect, harmful and not harmful depending on the site and the position of the mutation, its place and its effect also in protein. Next generation sequencer and the bioinformatics technology help all scientists in diagnosis of COVID-19. I'm ready for any question after in the plan session. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed Abdel Naim, for your very informative, detailed presentation and interesting topic. Now we start our panel discussion. If you, all the speaker, Dr. Prasanna, Dr. Danish, and Dr. Ahmed, turn on your mic and camera to answer the questions. Attendees, please write your questions in Q&A so we could answer them accordingly. Okay. We wait Dr. Danish to put his headphone. Okay. Now, let's see some questions here. I think Dr. Niaz Ali, how are you, Dr. Niaz? It's nice to hear from you. Now the question is, how sure we are that a mutation in a single region of protein will harbor the antigen antibody reaction and subsequent vaccination? Now we could, yes, could Dr. Prasanna and also Dr. Ahmed Abdel Naim, if you have any point here. So start, Dr. Prasanna, regarding this point.
Yeah, the question pertaining to the mutation and the vaccination. Till now, this is a virus, which is an RNA virus as told by Dr. Ahmed Abdel Naim. It is well known for antigenic drift and antigenic shift. These two concepts has to be borne in mind because drift is smaller nucleotide changes and shift is the major changes. So till now, the coronaviridae, that is COVID-19, novel coronavirus, has not undergone major changes till now. So that's why we are able to synthesize vaccine effectively, which will prevent further infections. So I think Dr. Ahmed Abdel Naim elaborately answered the nucleotide sequence, open reading frame, everything. So I won't get into the technical point because he's a specialist in that. But I will rather say the vaccine till now is effective even against certain mutant strains. Underline the word certain mutant strains. Why I am underlining the word is, I told you about the Brazilian strain and the South African strain, and Dr. Ahmed Abdel Naim politely told that the South African and the Brazilian strain have not now conquered the world. I can say like that. So by Allah's grace, let this strain go forever. Okay, go out to the underworld, because vaccine should be effective. So pertaining to Dr. Niaz Ali's question, this mutation has not changed the efficacy of the vaccine, and there is no evidence till now to prove that the mutation has superseded the vaccination. Thank you.
Can I answer, please?
Yeah.
Yes, please, Dr. Ahmed.
Mutation, one of the technique used by virus. As I explained here, proofreading process in the replication of the virus is nearly not present. So mutation is occur in any type of virus, if it is COVID-19 or any other virus, and it is method for adaptation with the new situation and the drug. So presence of vaccine already present and it will occur. But until now, as I seen in PubMed and I seen in the all publication we read or see, that there is no a very dangerous mutation occurring in the receptor place causing resistance for the vaccine. So vaccine is available. All vaccine is safe and not have any effect. Not have any effect. Not effect, all mutation. All the mutation detected not cause negative effect with the vaccine.
Thank you for your informative answer. Now we get another question. This is directed to Dr. Prasanna. The question is, does vaccine create a good environment for COVID-19 or any viruses to mutate and change their virulence factors of the virus to be more aggressive? In other words, the vaccine might force the virus to change to be able to enter the virus. So it's like the concept, does the, like antibiotics will encourage bacteria to have resistance. Yeah, is this concept here also?
Yes. The greatest confusion in our mind now is whether vaccine is good or bad. According to the concept now, sir, the only we will say the bullet, the magic bullet in our hand now is vaccination. Because when you give vaccine, all of us think that the virus will undergo further mutation, but the concept is vice versa. Because all the guideline by CDC, WHO, everything, if you read, when there is transmission from one person to another person, the virus gets mutated. So by giving vaccine, we are just preventing the infection by the major strain. You don't worry about the mutant strains now. Okay, the major strain, coronavirus strain, novel coronavirus, is susceptible to vaccine. So what is the major transmission occurring? It is because of the major strain. So you prevent the transmission by vaccine, which has got all the components for its immunity. So when you prevent transmission, automatically the mutation will stop. Why we are having precautionary measures in spite of this vaccination? Just to prevent the transmission of the mutant strains. These two concepts has to be clearly borne in mind, my dear colleagues. Please don't have false opinion about vaccination, because our kingdom has spent millions of reals for vaccination. Why? This is because they are depending upon the evidence-based concept. Please have an evidence-based concept in the mind that vaccination does not cause mutation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Prasanna, for your answer. So here the message is to try to get to the vaccine as soon as possible. Then we could prevent any future mutation.
Obviously.
And okay. I have a question for Dr. Danish regarding the spread, the global spread. Now we have the flights, and these could be a method to facilitate the spread. Now we have a suspension in some countries of flights, but how would be the situation if everything returned to normal? Would we have a very fast and new strains all over the world? You mentioned in your presentation, it is only in Brazil and some area in the world, but how we could return and when?
We will return to normalcy if the vaccination is occurring all over the world, because vaccination is the only method by which we can prevent the transmission and also prevent the mutation of the COVID-19 virus. So if they start the vaccination, increase the vaccine manufacture, and also if they give vaccination to all over the world, then there can be we can combat the transmission. If the transmission is combated, then mutation will not occur, and thus the mutant virus will die out. So vaccination is the only answer, which is the only main bullet for controlling the spread of the virus. If virus spread is stopped, then mutation will also stop, thus leading to decrease in the number of cases of the variant COVID virus. This variant COVID virus, as I mentioned earlier, it started from UK. UK was the first country where the mutant virus started, and from there it spread to USA and Brazil and South Africa. So if we increase the vaccine manufacture and we increase the vaccination all over the world, then this transmission can be stopped all over the world, even also by the airlines which have been halted because of to stop the transmission of the virus. So that way it is possible.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Danish, for your answer. Just a quick question regarding your answer. Would it be a good decision to make it necessary for all travelers to use the flights that they should be vaccinated first?
Yeah, I think if we the vaccination coverage all over the country, like for example Saudi Arabia, the sooner we vaccinate all the population in the world, in the country, the better it is to then only we should start the travel by airlines.
Okay, so we depend on the vaccine. This is the most important
vaccination
thing.
is a bullet answer for the stopping the transmission of the virus all over the world.
Okay, now we move to another question. This is to Dr. Ahmed Abdul Naeem. What are the RT-PCR test kits used for SARS-CoV-2 diagnosis in Saudi Arabia? What genes are targeted?
There is many types of kits available here in Saudi Arabia and also in all over the world. HVD company, for example, have a very good kit for diagnosis. Biotech also have a very good company for diagnosis of COVID-19, and it is target mainly different according to the kit. Some of kit target the spike and some envelope, and if it is effective, it is study or if it is they want to know to target the protein, and for RNA. It is also many kits target according to the site, which you know. For example, if some kit target open reading fragment 1, and but for shed light more, open reading fragment most commonly will similar with another virus. So if we take a look for another part, it will be more specific. For example, N or S. So I think most of kit shed light or focus on S and N in the part in S and N genes.
May I add something, sir?
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, actually, the question was asked by my colleague from India, and he is very interested in the kits, actually. To him, I'm answering, and to the crowd. So basically now, the SFDA, the Saudi Arabian Food and Drug Agency, has authorized some of the kits which are available. I have the detailed list. I will mail to him and also to the audience. Because Saudi Arabia is a country where quality is the priority. So they have a strict rules and regulation which will authorize only the kits which has got FDA approval. And we have got Cepheid, the company called Cepheid, Roche, and some of the kits which have been authorized by the FDA are given in detail in this PDF format. And at present, since I restrict myself to share the screen now, I will mail. And some of the kits which are authorized completely by SFDA are employed here. And we follow protocol called the authorized by the Institute of Paris from France to detect the EDP gene segment. So even though the strains are mutated, we will be able to detect easily. The E gene and the RDP gene, which Dr. Ahmad Abdul Naim was saying, the open reading fragment. So we are detecting that gene. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. And also, it is nice that we audience from our friends from. You are welcome here, and we are very happy to have you here in our session. And we are very happy to have all the participants from any country. We hope you get all the needed information. Thank you. Now we move to another question by Waad Al-Tabi. She asked, what can patients take vaccine if have latent TB? Regarding this question, please attend tomorrow. We will have more insight about the drugs and about the medical issues. So if you come tomorrow, same time, this is like just to make you excited.
Yes.
Come tomorrow to have the answer.
Yes.
Now we go to another one.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Barsanna, for your excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Do we have a mutant COVID-19 currently in the world that is less virulent?
Yes, sir. Obviously, when you take the mutants, now we have some of the mutations which are not clinically significant. Clinically significant mutants are now named by the VOC, that is variant of concern, VOC. 3 important VOC are now named: UK, South African, and Brazilian. Apart from that, till now in the world, the less mutants are going unnoticed. In my presentation, I would have pointed out a lot of lineages which are coming from B, 1.1.7, 1.1.5, like that. So mutation is occurring in Coronaviridae. Obviously it occurs, but does it affect the mankind? That is the main question. This is $1 million question till now, because it is left unanswered by many people. The less mutants are going unnoticed. Only the variant of concern are these 3 till now. I think I have answered your question.
If you answered this question and got the million, please give me half of it, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we go to another question. Dr. Johar, now he has a question to Dr. Ahmed. Molecular diagnosis means simply RT-PCR for people or any other test also?
Yes, this is a very good question. If I work in DNA of human, it will be only PCR without RT-PCR, because I don't need to transfer DNA for DNA. See, RT-PCR transfer RNA for DNA. But if I work in the gene expression, it means that I work here in the RNA of human, for example, so it will be depend on the RT-PCR. For virus, some of virus contain DNA and other contain RNA. According to type of virus, we determine method of diagnosis. If the virus is RNA virus, so we must using RT-PCR, because the RNA is very fragile and broken easily, even by endo and exonuclease. So it must be using RT-PCR. If it is if the virus contain DNA, we can directly make only PCR. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Now we go to a question by Dr. Mohammed Yusuf. The question is, what is your stand on AstraZeneca and Pfizer vaccine? Can prevent the new COVID mutant? I think you already answered in discussions that with the vaccine, this will give a high chance to stop the mutation.
Yes, sir.
If you have any comment.
Just one word. If you stop the transmission further, mutation will not occur. That does not depend upon the vaccine. That's why people are asking question, if I get vaccinated, will it not come? No, the answer is no. You are getting protected from the main strain. We agree. But what happens to the mutant? So till the mutant subsides and the vaccine get improvised by adding some of these mutant strains in the vaccine strain, the answer will come. So till then, Please keep your fingers crossed, have the precautionary measures on the run, and get vaccinated. This is the golden morale of this second sure webinar. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. A question for you, Dr. Danish.
Yes, sir.
If we back to history, we have eradicated some viruses. Is it in near future that we eradicate COVID-19? What is the methods that could eradicate a virus?
So far as I think, along with the vaccination, there should be these precautionary measures like hand sanitization and washing of hands and not going to crowded areas and doing the social distancing. Following these precautionary measures and along with this vaccination coverage 100% all over the world to each country, then we can eradicate the virus from the world. And we should not think that the vaccine is not very effective for the variant, the coronavirus variant, but we should rather increase the vaccination all over the country, and along with that, follow the precautionary measures. Like I told you, this hand washing and hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer will help in because this is a contagious virus. This is a highly contagious virus, spread by contact. And other diseases like other causes of contagious disease spread by contact. And also hand washing, keeping a distance of 2 meters between people and avoiding crowded areas. This can lead to the eradication of the virus all over the world. And still there are issues regarding eradication, but right now, after the starting of vaccination in December last year, I think this is what should be done, so far as I am concerned.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Danish. Now we move to another question by Ali Ismail, Dr. Ali Ismail. So this question, so what are the sensitivity and specificity of the different RT-PCR kits and factors that determine it? So this goes to Dr. Ahmed.
Yes, okay. This is a very good question and contain a lot of information. First of all, sensitivity of the RT-PCR. Sensitivity of RT-PCR depends on several factors: size of sample, quality of RNA and then the DNA, which is transferring for DNA. Also, the case and the degree of disease of the case. All of this sensitivity. Specificity of the RT-PCR according to the target place from the gene. If I target N or S, or target the open reading fragment 1 or 8, so the specificity according to the target. Specificity came from type of primer. So I explained here how they can make primer design. Primer is a part which attach for the genome to make amplification in the PCR. So it is depend on this, also the specificity of the primer used. So here sensitivity different completely from specificity.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ahmed.
Thank you.
We will have also another question here by Dr. Abdurrahman Al-Rashid. Welcome, Dr. Abdurrahman, and I am happy that you are attending this session. He is my friend and colleague, a dermatologist. So the question is it ethical to make the vaccine obligatory for academic staff and students? Do you have any answer?
Can I, sir?
Yes, Dr. Prasanna.
So the vaccine, is it obligatory for the person's academic staff? You see, whenever it's a social responsibility for all the citizens to get vaccinated, because we have to stop this virus getting mutated. First point. Then is transmission. Since academic staff or any other citizen who comes in interaction with the public, general public, it is their moral and social responsibility to stop this virus getting transmitted. So better to get vaccinated. But obligation, why it is made obligatory? Because we need to stop this virus at the earliest. But coming to the ethnicity, when we force somebody, it is difficult to come out. So people should be counseled about the good effects of the vaccine to protect themselves and the community. This is my answer. So obligatory, we cannot force anybody, but please get counseled or counsel someone to protect the society. Thank you.
Through social responsibility and increased awareness,
yes, sir.
This is the methods to spread the vaccine. Move to another question by Fahad Adham. If we have some hard work in recognizing the whole picture of COVID-19 and its prognosis, how can we assure the community whom are having some confusions regarding the vaccine and its long-term effects? So I think this is through the awareness,
yes,
through the campaign, through the Twitter, social media, your talk with your family, all that, the efforts that has been undertaken by the government to increase the awareness, the daily press conference by Ministry of Health. Everyone is responsible to send this message and to clear the confusion. Yes. Your attendance here with us is one of the major steps to clear confusions, and we hope that we answered your questions. Yes. So we got another one. Should I take the vaccine even though I was affected by the virus previously? This is a medical question, but in general, the Ministry of Health has answered this question. So infected people shall get the vaccine after 6 months. Now, another question by Dr. Niyaz Ali. If we make it clear that through genetic mutation, though genetic mutation are there, yet surface epitopes are still commonest, saying that it will trigger the immune response. And, do you have any comment on that, Dr. Prasanna?
So till now, I am not clear about the question actually, and the surface epitopes are present and which will trigger the immune system. But the only thing is that the important epitopes of the SARS-CoV-2 till now is the surface protein, spike protein, which is responsible for the immunity. So when the surface epitopes of the virus is changing continuously, our immune system will not be able to produce immunity against this. But to his question, I will say the surface epitope of SARS-CoV-2 till now, which produces a specific immunity against SARS-CoV-2, that is novel coronavirus, is spike protein. So till now, the answer is clear. The spike protein, against the spike protein, if there is specific antibody synthesized, we can be getting out of this infection. So if there is further classification, sir, I will be very glad to engage you. You can mail me, no problem.
Okay, thank you. We have exceeded our time, but we have a lot of interesting questions. So if you don't mind that you stay with us, so to answer these interesting, I would thank you all for your interaction. Now we have a question from Fatin Aziyad. Why the vaccine are not suitable for under 16? I think there is studies have not conducted for this age group. That's why it's not get the FDA approval. So once it's conducted in this age group, it could be used. So medications are the same. We should have evidence first, then we could use it. So it is not a matter that it is a dangerous for the people under 16 or under 18.
Yes, obviously.
We go to another question by Dr. Nasser. Is the technology for manufacturing a Pfizer vaccine safe enough? And what is the scientific evidence? Is this technology known before to treat a disease? So because this is a new method for the vaccine.
Yes. Sir, shall I answer?
Is it safe?
Yes, obviously it is safe, sir, because the Pfizer vaccine, if you take, it is a mRNA vaccine.
Yes.
So it is not a viral particle at all. So when we take this mRNA is very, very safe for all the age groups. If you take the trial by Pfizer, they have conducted a vast trial in different countries with different ethnicity. And this mRNA is safely protected in a lipid bilayer. So when you introduce this vaccine into a patient, it will not have any antigens to trigger your anaphylaxis, particularly. So this vaccine was a very successful one, but the company got stunned because of the huge demand from all over the world. So that's why this vaccine is not being able to produce. And in fact, when you transport this vaccine from one area to another area, we need a stringent temperature control of -70. So that impaired this vaccine from getting delivered to the peripheral areas. So when this Pfizer company conducted the trial, you won't believe that the side effects are very, very less. Even they didn't get mild fever at all. So it is proved that this vaccine is highly efficacious, and they are demanding about 90 to 95% of the efficacy.
Okay. Now we go to another question to Dr. Danish. By Azzam and Ghaither. Do COVID-19 variants you mentioned spread more easily and quickly than other variants?
Yes, they spread very fast, and it is 70% more transmissible as compared to the previous SARS-CoV-2, and it spreads very fast in the community. And although its mortality is less, but it will spread very fast all over the world. It has already started its journey from UK to USA, South Africa, and Brazil. And if they don't start vaccination all over the world quickly, and I know there are some issues regarding the vaccination all over the world, manufacture, which I told you earlier, they should scale up vaccine manufacture and start vaccination all over the world as soon as possible, increase the vaccination all over the world, and that's all.
I have an additional answer, please.
Yes, please, Dr. Ahmed.
According to the position of the variant or mutation, if the mutation occur in receptor binding and the case accelerate and facilitate penetration of the host cell, so it will be spread more easier. Maybe another mutation occurring in the envelope or in the S protein. This can cause decrease in the spread of the virus, and decrease also and can cause disappear of the whole the virus. So the spread of the and easily distribution of the virus depend according to the mutation and the site and the function of the mutation which will occur. May also mutation affect the protein structure, like example of SARS, different between SARS and COVID-19. So it is not controlled. We can't predict which is more spread more easily and which is spread more faster. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We go to another question by Ashib Parvis. Vaccination is probably dependent on immune response. So the majority affected persons in terms of mortality associated with COVID-19, such as elderly and persons with comorbidities, may have lowered immune response. So they may not show good response to vaccination, thereby may lead to lowered effective vaccination coverage. So should we have some probable measures for improving immunity and generality?
The answer to this question is the transmissibility, I agree. The vaccines are very much having lesser effect on immune response in elderly. I agree. But if you take the transmission now, corona, most of the people who are affected in the European nations are elderly people or having cardiovascular risk. This is one fact. If you take the Southeast Asian particularly, the people who are affected belongs to an age group of between 30s to 60s. So if you take the pandemic, if you take a pandemic, for example, this pandemic affects all the parts. That is because of the travel. Okay, the people who have transmission this virus are people who are earning category, that is between 30s to 60s. So because of them, the pandemic started. So our main aim is to target this transmission and stop this transmission, and vaccine is the only solution. When we come to this elderly group, the bridging population is between when they go home and interact with their mom and dad, they spread the virus. So if you stop the first point, we can stop the transmission to them. I think my logic is not my logic. This is the logic which is by CDC as well as by WHO. Thank
you. Okay. Now we move to another question to Dr. Prasanna. You have a great fan from the audience, Dr. Prasanna.
By God's grace.
Another question for you.
Thank
you. So this is from Dr. Muhammad Yusuf. Thank you, sir, for your informative session. What is your stand on AstraZeneca and Pfizer vaccine can prevent the new COVID mutant? I think we answered this question already.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Previously, yes.
Yeah, we know this question from Medhat. I'm not sure if he's Medhat with us. So many of these
Sir, we are not able. We are not able to hear you well, sir. Hello? Hello? Hello, sir?
Hello, I cannot hear you. Sir, I cannot hear you.
Sir, can you repeat the question, sir? Hello? Hello?
Okay. Hear me now?
Not yet, sir. Not yet, sir. Not yet.
I cannot hear you, sir. I cannot hear you.
Sir,
you
yes,
hear
sir.
me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir. Now able to.
Yes, I can.
Can you repeat the question, sir?
Now it's okay. I'll repeat the question. So many families have pets and animals. Are these animals coronavirus 19?
Actually speaking, sir, when you take in my slide, the type A is more in the animals. So the type A is more in the bats and the pangolins. So from these bats and the pangolins, how the human beings got? Again, it's $1 million question, because the WHO team which visited Wuhan are still not able to have a clarified vision how this transmission took place. So from the A coronaviridae to the B type, we don't know. So the people who have the pets in their home, if it belongs to canine group, for example, dogs and other wolf we won't have a pet. Okay, so dogs are the least important carriers for this coronavirus, and the wild animals like pangolins, bats are some of the animals which harbor this coronavirus. So we need not have a wrong intention that having pets will increase the transmission, because from the pets it is been less proved that having the domestic pets will spread the coronavirus. Okay,
I have additional answer, please.
yes, sir.
No
Yes,
one can
Doctor.
predict. No one can predict with this.
Yes.
Because as we explain in phylogenetic tree of the coronavirus, some of them alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and also easy to mutation can easy occurring to virus, and they can be also to infect the animal and then modify to infect the human. So we can't predict the effect of animal and the role of animal in this pandemic. And also we can't predict if it is safe or not safe, because no one knows the effect of this mutation. Effect of mutation appear after time, also after time. And also I think it is no one can predict about the answer of this question.
The best example is MERS-CoV, which occurred in Saudi Arabia, but we are not clear of whether camel is an important host. So nobody can predict this one, sir. It's a very difficult question, but time tested answer will come.
Yes, no one can predict. No one can predict about how the life cycle of the virus change. Yes. How it is well mutated for another mutated virus can be adapted with a specific animal.
Yes, obviously.
Also, how can be mixed with another virus, genome part from another virus. Also, no one can predict the effect or the role of the animal or the specific animal. According to my knowledge, until now, some scientists say the bat is a source, some saying another animal. So we don't know. Cat, for example, the role of cat in future will be what?
Okay. You hear me now?
Yes,
yes, sir, we can hear you.
Now there is another question by Abrar. I have a question for Dr. Ahmed. Will a person become a carrier of the virus when receiving the vaccine? I mean, will it pose a danger to others?
No, of course no. No, because vaccine technology different from have different technology. Here he using only a part from virus or weakness or dead virus. So you are not carrier. It is only cause increasing the immune response to protect yourself. Now, but you are not carrier for the disease. It is only activate your immune system. Activate your immune system to protect yourself if you exposed to a live virus. So you are not, anyone take vaccine, not carrier for the disease.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
When coming to vaccine, sir, as Dr. Ahmed told, it's a part of the virus. I agree. When you take the different type of vaccines, I told about Pfizer, it is an mRNA vaccine. By giving that vaccine, nobody is going to become a carrier. Second thing is that now Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, which is basically a vector vaccine, where we put the adenovirus and the adenovirus act as a vector and you put the spike protein inside the adenovirus. Okay, people who are getting this Covishield can get side effects as fever, that's all. So nobody is going to infect from one person to another person. As Dr. Ahmed told, it is not a live virus. It is a part of the virus, that is spike protein mainly, which is given inside our body to produce immune response. That's all. Yes. Okay, thank you.
But not carrier for disease. Carrier is another part, another point of view, another different completely.
Yes.
I think also that question is asking about if someone gets the vaccine, if could he get coronavirus virus later and transmit the disease to others. I think they answered that in the first session. This is, we don't have a lot of evidence, but the target is that the community gets 70% vaccine, then the transmission will be controlled.
Yes, obviously.
There is a question from Dr. Himayatullah. There is news that AstraZeneca vaccine is reported to be related to thrombosis. Any comments on this issue? Well, this is a medical, so I would also make an advertisement for our session tomorrow. We will answer this question in detail.
Obviously.
Now, another question by Dr. Himayatullah: is any COVID-19 vaccine safe in immunocompromised patients, like patients with AIDS?
No, sir. Till now, there is no trial conducted.
Should we move it to you could?
Yes, sir. We will move it tomorrow, sir. We will move it tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, good. Now, another question by Dr. Sharma. As per our observation with the previous epidemics of different diseases, as the time passes, the transmissibility of the disease increase, but the morbidity and mortality decrease. Thank you, Dr. Sharma, for the very nice information for the audience.
Yes.
Now we go to a question by Sattam. Are there ways to kill corona other than take vaccine?
The problem okay, Dr. Barsam.
Yeah, go ahead, no problem.
Okay.
No problem.
The problem of virus, it is scientists think more. They are don't know it is alive or dead molecule. It is very, very complicated. So antibiotic not kill for coronavirus. Vaccine also not kill. It is improve your immune system and the immune response to can recognize and the immune system in future can kill or get rid of the virus. So I think the vaccine not as a method for kill virus, but it is method for improve your immune system. Excuse me, Dr. Barsama, you can complete.
So coming to this, are there any methods to kill coronavirus? My answer will be wash your hands. That's all. And follow the social distancing. You see, coronavirus, for example, if you are getting infected, you can transmit this virus within 2 meters. So how to kill this virus? Simply, you follow the precautionary measures to prevent this virus from getting transmitted. That's all. We need not concentrate on how to kill this virus. Just to prevent its transmission, this pandemic will go off, as Dr. Sarma said, because the virus will lose its virulence and it cannot stay in this world for longer time. So when we prevent the transmission, that is the only way to prevent or to kill this virus. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We have a question by Dr. Mansour. Some people, a small percentage, have been seen not to develop antibodies after getting infected with COVID-19. Do they need to get vaccinated later on? And what will be the role of vaccination in them? So regarding this question, this is a medical one, but as the guidelines by the Ministry of Health, people who get infected, they should take the vaccine 6 months later. And people could also control the immunity. They could test for antibodies and to see if they are still immune. How long this immunity will stay, this is a new thing, and we will have new information about that. Another question now by Abdulaziz. Does the vaccine can eradicate disease at all. As we know, it will not 100% protect from second infection. Dr. Danish, could you answer this question if the vaccine would eradicate the disease?
Yes, definitely. First is vaccination, and along with vaccination, the precautionary measures which has to be taken, like wearing of masks. Wearing of mask will prevent infection in the person who is wearing mask and to the person who is around the person. And also by hand washing, hand sanitizing, and following the social distancing, a distance of 2 meters surrounding, and also by avoiding the crowded areas. So these are two main methods how one can eradicate the disease till date, as mentioned by the WHO.
Okay. A question here by Dr. Samsharan. I hope I pronounced it good. SARS-CoV-2 is transmitted by droplet nuclei. Would surgical mask contain the same? Nice sessions and discussion. All the best to you. Thank you for your compliments. Do you have comments regarding the mask? And
yes, sir. As already told, WHO has clearly said two things. SARS-CoV-2 is a droplet infection. Yes, I agree. But when you are performing an aerosol generating procedures like bronchoscopy or any other procedures pertaining to the respiratory tract, this will become aerosol and it will be airborne. So to kind information, I think my colleagues who are in MOH side will definitely know that whenever they are performing the aerosol generating procedures, they should have an N95 mask rather than a surgical mask. And people who are in their common life, they should wear an ordinary mask, because we are not going to generate that much of aerosol in the normal life. So an ordinary mask is useful. And more than that, 2-meter distance, social distancing is very, very important. Second thing is hand hygiene. So when they do this, they can be protected. Thank you, sir.
okay, thank you. Now we have comment from Fahad Haim. I raised the hand icon to ask something in voice if there is time. So if you are online, you could raise your hand now and we'll give you, could now ask your question.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Thank you for conducting this session. Nice discussion, Dr. Adil, Dr. Bulsana, Dr. Ahmed, Dr. Danish. Thank you. Earlier, I asked that in community, when they ask about the long-term side effects, in medicine, I think we can't say that something is 100% effective or correct. So when people ask that in long-term vaccination, there might be some side effects that we don't know, how can we say that it is effective? There might no be side effects. Thank you.
Can I answer, sir?
Yes, please, Dr. Basana.
Dear Fahad, now the pandemic is striking the world like anything. Okay, something is better than nothing. Okay, so whenever we don't know much about this mutant or the normal corona SARS-CoV-2, which is spreading like anything, so now the scientists are breaking their head to design something which protects us. Okay, so when they designed this first vaccine, because the world was on rampage and there was no time to conduct clinical trials, stage 1, 2, 3, you know, the vaccine has been rolled out after 3 successive clinical trials. Okay, so when they do the clinical trials and they employ a lot of people, they struggle a lot. Okay, so when the vaccine comes out to the market, they have spent already millions of rupees and on different people. So they would not have checked on all the age group with all the side effects. Okay, to have a clear knowledge about how this vaccine behaves is a time-tested procedure. Okay, so we cannot wait that much long to say whether the vaccine is safe for the community 100%. Okay, so Pfizer and AstraZeneca, luckily by God's grace, has come out with some success in their vaccine production, offering an immunity of around 80 to 90%. Okay, so we are giving with an expectation and praying, because we are the one who treats, God is the one who heals. Okay, so by Allah's grace, let this vaccine be successful with least side effect. So when we take this Oxford AstraZeneca and the Pfizer in Saudi Arabia, the data are yet to come about their side effects, major side effects. I am telling, a death is a major side effect, and any hospitalization is a major side effect. Till now, the data is not released, and I hope these side effects are least. Okay, I think I would have answered your question. Thank you.
Okay.
Anything to?
Thank you for your answer. Just a comment from the audience about when the session will finish. So the session will finish for today. Now we have all the questions from you regarding the certificates you receive by email. If you have any inquiry, you could mail it to the elearning.cmd@su.edu.sa, and they will answer your questions regarding the certificate or anything, but you'll receive it through email. We will have another session tomorrow. Stay tuned at 7:30 with 4 interesting topics. We will focus more on the medical and clinical side about the drugs, the new drugs that has been used, new protocols, treatment of mutant COVID-19 cases, and also emergency cases. So we will be waiting for you tomorrow also. We have here a comment from Dr. Tehmina Wani. Thank you, Dr. Adel Said, for arranging this webinar. It was not only useful but interesting as well. All the speakers did a great job. Keep it up. Thank you for your compliments.
Thank you.
And thank you for all the attendees. Thank you for the speaker. We will wait you tomorrow, inshallah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, Dr. Adel. Thank you for all my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. Thank you, sir.